by the way.
There we go.
If they're not moving, they look fine. But the moment one of those fucking
Really? The
eight-legged
animations?
centipede-looking pandas try to move her, yes, they look like.
Why not just make the Half-Life 3 cupcake and sell it to everybody, right? Even if it leaves a terrible taste in your mouth, people will still have bought your cupcake. And the analogy breaks at some point, so bear with me, right?
And this one time, my mom bought me a shirt, and I was in high school, and I'd been powerlifting and then stopped. So I was like fucking 280 or something like that. And they were buying for 190-pound kid. So it was like a medium. And I put that on, and it was like a sausage roll with legs, man. And my mom would not stop demanding I put it on. And I'm like, put it on, put it on. Your grandma wants to see it. This might be her last year alive. And I'm like, well, we're not going to die and have the last memory in her life be of me squeezed into this thing like a toothpaste. He'd have dinosaurs delivering your What if all you heard was a scratching at your door? And it's like,
It has really small hands, so it can't really carry
and
stuff.
so it's like it's got the box, but it's holding it like a like this. It's all. Here's your pill.
You
But
might need to package that.
it'd be a
in
surprise
more
mechanic.
marketable format.
Occasionally, the box would
Surprise
open,
mechanic,
and there
there you
wouldn't be
go.
a Tyrannosaurus in it. And other times, so what if there was $1 million in one canister? You drop a railroad car, soundproof, so you can't tell. You drop a railroad car, and there's either a rabid Tyrannosaurus, probably already rabid. So, but you get a Tyrannosaurus in one, maybe some guns on him,
Fairly.
and then the other one's got $1 million. And you're like, everybody go there, and if you open the door, surprise, you get one or the other. They look like. Audibly acceptable audiobooks. Right now, you can get over 100,000 million books through the Karak's audio bookstore. New York Times classics like I Married a Werewolf, Teen Bruisers, What Is This Dark Spot, Why Can't I Pull Off My Own Face, and the classic award-winning self-help book, How to Staple Your Mouth Shut by Here is just a small sample of the audio quality that you can expect. He flicked the hair out of his face, the sweat beading off of it, his weight pressed down on her, his lithe form finding comfort in her curves. There was a sensuous quality to her body he couldn't get enough of. He slipped her bra off smoothly and tossed it onto the hard concrete floor. Bill patted the old Corvette with one hand. That's it, baby. Let me know all your secrets. An entire world is waiting for you. Just download them on the go to your Android or that one company that fucking hates headphones, so they remove the port completely. Listen on the go. Pretend you're busy so you don't have to engage with others in society. And that's right, you can do it all from the comfort of your little safety cocoon of sound, you goddamned introverts. It's best if you also don't make eye contact and beat your head like you're cooler than everyone else is. Just $19.99 a month plus taxes and fees and VAT times 2, or our subscription service that's only $19.99 a month plus VATs and fees and service times 2. And allowing our tracking cookies, you can have instant access to all that you desire when it comes to the audio realm. So join Karak's audio and audible, audibly acceptable audiobooks now, for when your eyes are just too fucking lazy to move side to side. And remember, you can't cancel at any Sup, everybody? This is Karak with ACG, and I'm here with Johnny, Reg, and Silver for the International Podcast number 267 of 312 that have been successfully posted, but we're 267. Glad to have you here. Thank you very much for showing up. Thanks to these guys for showing up. You guys are all superstars, especially when they could be playing a game right now. They could be watching a Guardians of the Galaxy spoiler stream if they wanted, you know. But instead, they've chosen to hang out with me here and talk about GTA not getting a remaster and instead just getting a reshade improvement. I'm just joking. Somebody's going to be mad about that. We are going into this weekend with nothing big released this week, right? This week, was anything big released this week?
No big releases.
So people are going into the weekend with not much. Is there anything you guys have been playing or are planning on playing this weekend?
Yes.
Which one? Well, you got to give me the rest, Johnny.
I gotta give you. I gotta give you the rest.
This is a podcast, man, not a fucking interrogation. He's like, yes,
we'll just leave it there.
His lawyer
yes.
is like, his lawyer's like, don't offer it.
You know, like when you ask someone, "Do you have the time?" and they go, "Yeah."
Oh, dude,
right.
That person, I'm like, are you a jackass? I'm asking myself the question. Yes, you are. From now on, I'm never talking to that person.
Yes.
What are you planning on playing?
Well, the reason I hesitated is I've played actually a bunch of stuff because I'm on holiday, so I'm off work and I've been hanging out with family, and on the off time I've been playing a bunch of stuff. Persona 5 Royale, which has been like my sweetheart holiday game. I've been playing something called Bloons TD6. If you guys know that, it's a TD game. Originally, I think, for mobile, but it's addictive as fuck. So you're just popping these balloons in a tower defense game, and it's amazing. And I played something interesting today called Pawn. I posted it in the chat. Let me pull it out. It's a chess-based roguelite game.
Oh, shit. Another roguelite game.
Pawnbarian. Pawnbarian on Steam. It has a free demo, which I played. And the idea is with chess movement patterns, you have to move on a board and avoid and kill enemies. And it's roguelite in the sense that you build a deck. Each card in the deck is a movement. So maybe you have the knight as a card, which means you can move as a knight on the board. So I thought it was kind of an interesting concept. I love chess, so it was cool to see that integrated into a roguelite game. So a little shout out for that one.
Excellent. What about, and by the way, if anybody's asking, my head's just hurting a little bit, so I decided to put on glasses for this. I prepared too early, I think, for the podcast. So that's why everything's working. But at the same time, I think it screwed up my eyes. What are you playing, Silver?
I went back to play a lot of Assassin's Creed Origins, actually, because after finishing Far Cry 6, I kind of felt like going back to Egypt. Like the desert, the pyramids, that whole setting. And I've loved going back to that. So I've really enjoyed that. Also have kind of returned to playing a bit of Watch Dogs Legion, because I never finished it. So playing that a little bit as well. And some indie games here and there, or smaller games, including our indie game of the week, which I'll get into later. So yeah, that's mainly what I've been playing.
Excellent. What about you, Reg?
I've restarted Oxenfree. So also going back to older games. This time on the tablet. Yeah, exactly.
What do you think of that?
I mean, works perfectly fine there. It's a good game anyway, and with touch screen, no issues. Like moving the dial around and directing your people to go.
Will this be the first time you've replayed it?
Yes.
And when you originally played it, was it only one playthrough to see the ending?
Yes.
So this one is the double, is the two playthrough. Do you think you'll play through it again?
We'll see. I mean, I do have 2 weeks off now, and I'll be away from part of that, so I will be playing more tablet stuff as well.
I'm just sending the podcast announcement out to YouTube. I'll just
Any
say
great plans for your
live,
holiday?
I want you to hear. Oh, go ahead.
Going to Liechtenstein. So that's by Switzerland.
Pick up cheese?
Yeah.
No, visiting extended family.
Oh, gotcha. How extended? Like fourth relative or?
No, pretty close.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask something about Oxenfree. Yeah, because Oxenfree's got that new, you play it twice now to see all the stuff, which when I first played it, you didn't. And then the second time I played it, they did the new version, which was the 2 playthroughs. So I was wondering, but on the tablet, it works tremendous, man. Yeah, it's awesome. Yep. I'm glad you're revisiting it. Touch controls, you're not using I know you have a gamepad hooked up to it, but you're using touch controls.
No, I'm not even using like touch controls. I'm using the stylus.
Oh, okay, but still okay on the screen.
It is on the touch screen.
All right, gotcha. Very cool.
But not smudging up the display
with your finger grease, your face, dude. I admittedly, man,
that is a big downside of it because you basically always have to polish it.
Yeah, and you won't really think about it, and then you'll look at the tablet.
Oh yeah, it's like, why can't I see anything anymore?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
Be like, because half of my body's spread across the front of my tablet like a DNA marker. Somebody dropped a super chat. Eric Duguay. Eric's been a podcast patron and a podcast watcher for a long time, so welcome. $10. Let's get this out of the way. Pineapple does belong on pizza.
It does not.
Well, it doesn't belong on pizza, but
it can be put
all
on
right
pizza.
If it's on there. Yeah, exactly.
You guys, man. Everybody's so up in arms about pizza toppings.
Yeah.
You know, unless it's seafood, I'm okay with whatever it is, you know?
Why do you have to convert people? Just ask, get what you want. Let others get what they want, and it's all good.
Yeah,
you don't need to convert.
Dude, I've seen people who talk for like hours about the differences between like Chicago and, another place's pizzas and which one's better. And I'm just like
deep pan pizza or American or Italian crust.
Yeah. I'm like, you guys can eat pizza. I'll be banging your girlfriends. I have no clue. Like, fucking worry about real shit. I'm sorry. I just find it so stupid to worry about that and get that verklempt about it. I've seen people do the same thing about hot sauce, where they're really into like hot sauce or chili, and you're just like, seriously, man, it's just eat it and move the fuck on. Pineapple on pizza with ham, dude, it's awesome. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I definitely love a little pineapple on the pizza. Sorry, that's just the way it is. The best topping on pizza is weed smoke. All right.
How does that even?
I don't know, but there's my listeners right there. Elevating the discussion.
Amazing, guys. Cheers.
You're gonna have some trouble getting it to stick to the pizza, though.
Stibbity stepping the discussion straight up. I mean,
if the smoke in the room is really thick, it will settle just on the pizza.
Like the yellowing on wallpaper.
Yep,
oh,
exactly.
Dude. I moved into a 1-bedroom apartment, man, and he warned me. He's like, listen, we're going to paint this once you move in. We haven't got a chance to paint it, but if you want to move in early, you can. And I did, and all the walls were like that. Where they're off, they look white, but then you think the light's fucked up. Like maybe you got a different, temperature light, and then you realize, no, it's just yellow from somebody in there smoking. Smoking inside of your house, man. Just
It is terrible. Yeah.
So gross. Let's see, reading some other stuff here. People are playing various games. Red Dead
you get to enjoy it twice
again.
that way. So
get to breathe it in. You get twice cancer chance too. GTA Definitive Trilogy looks really poo. What a shame. Not worth $60. Is it 60? I mean, we assume it's 60, but did they announce a price for GTA? I don't think they did yet.
No idea.
We know it'll be 60, right?
Yeah.
We know. Let's see. I've never played San Andreas, so it might be cool to do so. I'm scared about my pre-order for Marvel Guardians. I hope it's good. I'm scared you pre-ordered anything.
Yeah, that's a risky one.
No reason to pre-order something, man. I mean, there's no, unless you're going to get the special statue edition like Silver. And Silver's actually got his statue. What the fuck? When did you fix your statues, Silver? Oh, everything's
not crooked anymore.
That was a long time ago.
Years ago. So look at that.
Years ago.
Yeah, probably. So Silver, if people don't know, Silver has had statues in the past, but they were like fucking on boxes and coats and shit. That looks good, man. You got Cyberpunk. What are the statues that you've got?
It's Cyberpunk, Boba Fett, and Alexios from Assassin's Creed.
You got Boba Fett, huh? Just like from The Mandalorian recently, or the older?
No, a Lego Boba Fett.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Did you see my post, Reg, about the Lego?
Yes, I did.
What was that? Meet the Home Alone.
Home Alone.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I saw that.
$399.
By the way, the Grand Theft Auto Trilogy, it is already on pre-order and it is 60.
Yeah.
$60, my friends. It's a lot of money. Let's see. Dad Beats says, been enjoying the Discord and the podcast. Keep it real. $8 super chat. I just want to say, man, Discord's been awesome lately. You guys, we've got new people in the Discord plus old people. Everybody's returning probably because of fall, usually. I think fall, there's something about winter. People like, even if they can't go out because of COVID, they still sort of den up and start reaching back out to friends and stuff like that. Probably because they just want Christmas gifts, so they want to ingratiate themselves into their lives. But
Yeah,
whatever.
Exactly. Hey, remember me?
Yeah, remember me? Hey, how you doing? My name's Takedown. You want to send me something? I'm just joking. It's very. He's never asked for anything. make that clear. But I do want to say, it's been awesome, man. We've had new people come in there. We've had a lot, obviously, because the more reviews I do, the more people slowly like come into Patreon. And some of you guys have been. I got to play Back for Blood with Idiot. What is he?
Doom Spiral.
Idiot Doom Spiral. Which, by the way,
Yeah,
it's
you
very
weren't
difficult.
calling him an idiot.
Yeah, it's very difficult. The first thing you do every time you're in a discussion with him is be like, dude, can I call you something else? Because that's going to feel really weird after a while. But we got to do some Back for Blood with him and Cadiz and, of course, Lord Addict from the Iron Lords podcast. He's in our Discord and had him come jump in for some games. But I just want to say how awesome it's been, and shout out to Citizen Sleeve. Silver is a mod. I'm a mod. Purple Sand is a mod. I think that's it. But by far the one who mods the most is Citizen Sleeve. He's definitely the one who's always making sure that, boy, if you post a picture and you don't explain why you posted that picture, he's on you. He's on you. He knows how serious I take it. And I love him for it. He's done a very good job, and I wanted to say how much I appreciate him being in there. Let's go to the next one. Starscream. Rift Breaker, hordes of thousands of aliens making my PS5 run in single-digit frame rates. Amazing game, though. Mix of Star Troopers and Avatar. That was from Starscream. Have you guys played it?
Yeah.
What do you think?
No.
I would say it's quite good.
That was the one we talked
mixes...
about last week for a tiny bit of time, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Correct.
I thought it was cool because I didn't know about it, and it came out of nowhere. It's a cool Game Pass game, I would say. Worth checking out.
Did you have FPS issues? He's saying it made his PS5 run in single digits.
No, but then I didn't get super far into it, so maybe later on it gets super busy.
Makes sense. Thank you, Starscream, for the super chat, and hopefully you can get that into at least double digits. If you can get, 15, you're good.
Locked 11.
Locked at 11. Mark Skipper, names again, Karak. I don't know what that means. Did I screw up names? Names again? It says names again, Karak. Mark Skipper, $2 super chat. I have no clue what that means. You have to tell me what it means, or I'm not going to know. Let's see. Love the new sound studio in your background, Karak. Cutting an album. I am. It's a diss album about Mark Skipper not explaining his fucking super chats. So it's called $2 is $2 too much, and it's just going to be me dissing on him. Let's see. Zoyan, ACG, do you weird? I do.
Yes.
Often. Do you weird that very few people are upset that God of War is coming to PC? Brother, we are going to talk about God of War right after we all sort of get back into the zone for Friday. Ross Borndia says, ACG channel notification is working. Happy Friday, everybody. Happy Friday to you. So, I also want to say thank you, everybody, for giving me feedback on the trailers that we do prior to this. I know some people are like, hey, I'm not in love with... the nameplates. The nameplates. Thank you very much. She says the nameplates are wrong. I'm like, okay. What's he talking about? Okay, give me 1 second. Give me 1 second.
That's okay.
You absolutely rock. Whoever just said that, you're my best friend for like 35 seconds. You get 35 seconds of best friendage. Okay, here we go. Johnny's over here. I'm there. Silver's gone. Oh, that can't be. Give me a second. This is impossible. There we go. Boom. Silver's there.
We had them flipped. Silver was Rijaku. Rijaku was me. Imagine if we pretended to be each other like that for one podcast.
Oh, God. It'd be too hard. I'd try to be Silver. Yeah. That'd probably be my best. Oh. And I would just like repeat something that I had read from a book, you know, like that'd be the only thing I could do. Can you see your screens in your reflective glasses? I can't, bro. I don't have up close sight at all. I'm sorry. I'm looking forward to some games coming out. All PS exclusives should come to PC, but they should not release them with the launch prices. Okay, well, we'll talk about that. You know what? Let's just jump into it. Fuck it. Does anybody have any special messages to give to the listeners prior to us starting the God of War PC talk?
Just you shouldn't feel ashamed of calling Idiot Doom Spiral idiot. You could always make it a Dostoevsky reference.
Yeah, I could, but he wouldn't know what the fuck that is.
The Idiot novel. So.
Yeah.
You and I might know. Sean H. Name banned again.
Well, if you don't know, the idiot of that novel is basically Dostoevsky's sort of projection of the ideal human being, where because he doesn't have typical human flaws like guile or like ambition in that way, everybody else perceives him as an idiot, even though
that's
he's
not
good,
really a
virtuous,
flaw.
and smart.
Having no ambition is just, that's what I call good competitor.
Exactly, but it's what they sort of they perceive him as an idiot because he doesn't have those sort of lacking human qualities and cruelty and whatnot. He's good-hearted, kind, intelligent and whatnot, so his surroundings perceive him as an idiot.
That's why I'm really happy with the way current humanity is, like giving away trophies for third place and not showing up and shit, because I'm like, dude, I'll just come there and I'll school the shit out of your children. You know what I've been doing lately? Going to like grade schools and joining their races. Like, anybody can join. Been sprinting around beating their kids. It's pretty fucking awesome. Got a little sprint. Third graders are like, yeah, third graders. Exactly. Third graders are doing a 100-yard sprint. I'm like, bitches, anybody can join? Let's do this. Name banned again. Got called out by Sean H. Let's read the super chat. Sean H. Name banned again. 100,000 super chat is what he's going to give. And I'll resub and eat an extra large pineapple pizza on Twitch. That seems like, I'm just saying, I don't have a lot of money. I'm not a rich person. That seems like a lot of money just for eating a large pizza. It seems like you might be overselling that.
Little bit.
Eric says, oh my God, if you set playback speed to 0.25, the podcast turns into...
Jesus, can you imagine, dude?
I can. I've accidentally...
Why is that even a setting? Who...
You know, I don't know. I assume it's just it's retention. Like, you know how you had to learn English and stuff, like maybe it's for people who want to listen to...
I guess.
Well, for me, it's more like I do sometimes use the slow down function, but not for listening. But for example, for tutorial videos where you try to follow along a click path where they show you something on screen.
Oh, here's how to hack the switch.
Yeah.
See, I get tired at one speed. I want it at 2.5. Like, 2.5 is slow to me. 2.5, you know, where they're just like, sup, everybody, this is Karak with ACG, and once again, it's my continuation.
Chop, motherfucker.
We ain't got time. All right, let's jump into it. God of War. So, God of War got announced. What do we got? We got Days Gone, right? That came out. We got Horizon Zero Dawn, right? We got now God of War. Are those three the mains from Sony?
And the Uncharted.
Right. And Uncharted got announced. Yeah, so we'll go with Uncharted. Yeah. So we're looking down the barrel of Sony fans who most likely rocking at home, just getting ready to cut themselves. Just all kinds of messed up.
Wrapped in the Sony blanket.
Wrapped in their Sony blanket with their Jim Ryan poster on the wall where they're
holding a huggable controller.
Okay,
and a Crash Bandicoot plushie.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, now it's getting crazy. But so they announced it. I think we all expected it, and that's life. Jim Ryan, just a week prior to that, had gone on an interview and had stated he wants, why not want more people to play it. But I want you guys' thoughts. Sony announces it. What do you think? Even if it's a funny thought, what are your thoughts?
I think it's great. I think the more people get a chance to play it, the better.
And it doesn't, to you, impact anything else. Is that correct, Silver? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I mean, it's so long after the original releases of the games. Why would it?
Yeah. Right. What about you, Johnny, or Reg, if you have anything to add?
Yeah, I would play it again, I think. My thinking is, when I played it, I was at a time where I didn't fully click with it. I played through the whole thing, and I can appreciate the game, but it didn't really, like my heart wasn't in it, I guess.
Sure.
You know, like.
Do you think your
So
heart
I
wasn't
think
in it
playing
because
it
you
a
couldn't
second
squeeze your
time-
entire body through that vagina cam that they had going on with the FOV of like?
I mean, that's a part of it,
it was
right?
like being
The
burned
camera was
through 8 hours. Oh,
claustrophobic.
it's claustrophobic. It was so terrible. It was so tight and so
Yeah.
like uncomfortable. And the idea that whether they do it, guys, or a modder's going to do this, right?
Yeah.
A modder's
sure.
going to.
Oh,
So
undoubtedly.
that's
It
why
will
we
be
want
there.
them to officially support
day
it, right?
one mod. Usually.
Day one mod. Yeah, day one mod. But let's say it's not a day one mod. Let's say that they put it in there. That's a huge bonus. A bonus that I'm not joking when I say will cause me to want to play that again, where I never touch that game ever again after and I liked the game. I loved the game. I never wanted to touch it again. So you got 60 FPS, probably 4K. I don't see anything in there that's really going to stress system components on a PC. So you're probably going to get a fairly good running game. It's not open world in the way that, like, Days Gone is. Good combat with some issues, but, I don't think they're going to make any changes to any of that. I think
No, but I'll tell you what, man. I've had many times where it's like the console effect, where I play a game on console and for some reason it just doesn't feel that good, and then I play it on PC and it feels responsive and way better. Sekiro was one. The game was suddenly playable. It felt like. And I know that now maybe on PS5 it's much better. I played it on PS4, so you have to remember that. But for me, the jump will be huge, I think, being able to play it on PC. Another example, a game like Devil May Cry 5 plays incredibly well on PC and feels a lot nicer to play there, even compared to the PS5. So I think it will be...
Yeah, I mean, on the PS4, you only had 30 FPS for God of War.
Exactly.
So getting that up to 60, I don't know if it's up to 60 on the PS5, but on the PC it'll be better.
Yeah.
The God of War store page, by the way, says unlocked frame rate for the PC release.
120 FPS.
Justin Bernhauser, $15 super chat. Justin, you rock. That $15 will actually allow for me to get another probably 24-pack of Mountain Dew, which is exactly what my pancreas needs. He says, first time on the podcast. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoy it. If you don't, you can blame Reg and Johnny and Silver. I'm usually held down by those around me. That's just the way it is. So
it's fine. I don't care.
Yeah, you know how it is. You're only geniuses never realized in their own time. Let's see. Somebody is talking about Inscription. We will talk about that in a bit. Oh, wait. Yep. Love your vid. Can't wait for Guardians of the Galaxy review and hope we get a new Deus Ex. Thank you, Zohan. New Deus Ex probably not happen for a while, but I'm going to tell you right now, if it does, I'm going to be really happy. I'm playing Mankind Divided right now, actually. Go ahead, Reg.
No, I was just looking at the store page. They also have ultra-wide support, DLSS, pretty much everything you might want in a PC release, it looks like.
That's awesome, man. It's past time, right? It's like, I get it. As that person said, let's wait for a while after the release, whatever. I do get why people want that, because they want, but to me, the console isn't just about what games it is. It's the price in which you can get that system. It's just it's nowhere near my 2080 Ti and my state-of-the-art Intel and my fucking SSD drives. So getting a PS5 isn't just about the PS5 having its very specific exclusive games. It's also about being a good deal cheaper. That's why when anybody tells you, why don't you just get a PC? You're like, why don't you just go back to math class? Because you don't understand money. Like they're not even in the same unit. In fact, my graphics card is currently selling for 2.1 times the cost of the console. So, I think a year. What do you guys think? If let's say, not that we care, but if you did care, if you were at the company, how long do you guys think is long enough before you release it on PC? 6 months? A year?
Like if I had to choose,
if you were the one choosing,
on PC,
what would you think?
I'd probably settle with 2 years.
2 years. Okay, so 2 years. So that's a good amount of time. 1 full year at full price, maybe 1 year at your sale price. You've sold as many as you're going to sell. Okay. All right. Silver, Johnny?
Yeah, I would probably do the Epic Store thing and do it for a year.
A year.
Just to still cash in as much as possible on there still being like hype or like talk about the game. Although, I mean, it could potentially revitalize talk about the game 2 years out. So
yeah, true.
So there is that as well.
I think that's the funny thing, dude. Almost it seems like the longer it goes, the more the hype becomes. I mean, if you look at Bloodborne, how many years has it been since it came out?
Yeah, but that's been ever since it came out. Like
I know that's a special case. Yeah, I'm not. You know, I know it's not for everyone, but it does feel like it's just compounding every other year that there's a rumor about it. It just becomes
same thing with Persona 5 as well. Is the other one?
Yeah, true. Yeah, Persona 5. You get a lot of people talking about Xbox Persona 5 too, wanting it on Xbox. Which to me, like, I don't even think of Xbox and Persona 5. I get why people would want it. I've already played it, but it definitely pops up a lot. It's definitely something.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't even get Strikers on Xbox, did we?
I don't think so. No, we didn't.
It was on PC, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
PC. Okay, I think that's the version I reviewed. So, it's just a weird time all in all for a lot of people. I know a lot of people are like challenged by this, but if you give it a year or two, you as a consumer aren't harmed by it for sure. You're not harmed even if it's tomorrow. But yeah, I do understand why people want something exclusive. But I would say price is exclusive as well. And we're in a world right now where price matters.
Absolutely.
And your exclusivity, guys, like, even if it was 3 months, I'm actually much shorter than you guys. I'm like, I would be day and date, I'd be fine. Because the price difference right now is just so dramatic. I just tried to help somebody get a PC. No lie, we priced out. We went way beyond. He's not even near where he needs to be.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
he's not near it. With
all the hardware prices currently.
Yeah. And by the way, he would have been near it. Yeah, prior, he would have definitely been near it. So, I just think it's good for gamers, man. We get to jump in there. We get more people playing it. What does this mean? It just means like Sony, they already know God of War 2 is coming, but let's say they didn't. Then suddenly, like you guys said, talk boils back up and people are like, hey, this game actually is awesome. And maybe a company looks at it and says, look at this secondary, response to our title. Maybe
exactly. The PC release comes out, like maybe half a year later, the console version, the new one comes out.
Yeah. Sean H., $5 super chat. Karak, that liquid you're imbibing looks like the cursed sarcophagus juice. It is. It's directly from the prostate of a pharaoh. Squeeze gently from the prostate of a pharaoh. It took a while, too. We had to rehydrate him and do some stuff. But
can only get a few drops at a time.
Yeah, so
needs a lot of sessions.
A lot of sessions. A lot of fellatio with the pharaohs. And thank you, God. Silver. I really am just a garden variety idiot, though. Oh, that must be Idiot Doom Spiral.
Yeah, okay. I would imagine.
Anybody else find it depressing to find out that Idiot Doom Spiral's name is Sean? That's a letdown.
so normal, isn't it?
That's pretty. I gotta say, I have had a lot of letdowns, including like chicks not wanting to get married, and I would say this one's still higher. Yeah, that's pretty. Don't come back to the Discord.
Thanks, Sean.
There we go.
Sean. Let's see. Swordbeam says, I think Bloodborne's issue is that it's a coding mess. Yeah, it is a coding mess. I do remember them having that, but didn't the guy get the emulator running at perfect now? Didn't somebody get Bloodborne running perfectly with a 60 locked FPS on an emulator of some kind? Maybe on the PS5?
With a modded thing they loaded, but...
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Eric Doge, $6 Canadian. Oh, well, then not really as cool. It's like $3 Canadian.
Wow.
Send you a worthy tweet of the playback speed, LOL. I don't know what that means. You just paid money. And I don't know what you're saying. I want to repeat something amazing. Let's make something up for Eric that he said that's like profound. Because what he just said makes no sense. Does anybody have anything profound we can pretend Eric said? No? Wrong podcast for that, I guess.
I got nothing.
I got nothing.
Sean!
If you watch ACG with the sound off,
Yoda.
He looks angry.
There is no try.
If I look angry, I sound angry even if the sound's on. Named after Sean Connery. Oh, okay.
Nice.
The first RDR.
Speaking of Sean Connery.
Yeah.
CD
jump. Let's do it.
Projekt Red announced a massive delay to their projects, right? There's no connection with Sean
There's
Connery.
none.
I'm
No,
looking
no,
for
That
the
is
next.
amazing. That's the best segue ever. That's the best segue ever. Because I was sitting here
just
going,
FYI,
my
there's no
brain
Sean Connery.
in the background too was doing that thing where like your CPU in the background, you alt tab
You're
out,
like,
but it's
how
still
are we
heavy.
getting to Sean Connery
Yeah, my
here?
CPU is at 78% going, I'm not seeing any connection. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, The Witcher 3 Next Gen Edition slated now for next year, second half of next year, and the next gen versions of Cyberpunk also 2022 kind of first half.
Yeah.
And I think at this point is just what is happening with the company. It's fallen up. It's in shambles, right? It's a disaster.
I've got nothing to add. It is.
Like, it just looks bad.
Rarely has news hit with so little impact on my life.
Yeah,
I mean,
true.
because I think we're largely numb to it after it already got delayed one earlier in the year. So it's not really particularly shocking or anything. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know whether it's in shambles or not. Certainly, it doesn't look good. The next generation update is now going to be more than a year out from release.
Yeah, and it was meant to be shipping on release, right?
Yeah.
For Cyberpunk, I mean, yeah.
Let's get back on track though, real quick, about the God of War. As Reg just like, no,
sorry, we didn't finish the.
We didn't even come close to finishing.
Pull back.
So
pull out.
Like, it's like you try something different sexually, and you're like, I don't like this position, so I don't like it. We're switching back to missionary.
Bring it back.
Real quick though. So you guys, we're all discussing the timelines for these. I do have to say, I should make myself clear. I do not mean I want them to come day and date as just simple ports with no options. I'm talking about true PC options. So I do want to make sure I'm clear. So I do want DLSS, right? I do want FOV.
Right.
I don't
Key
just
bindings.
Yeah.
That is actually on the feature list. We have key bindings.
We have key
It
bindings.
is on there.
Yeah. Sammy, small token of appreciation, $19 with an E next to it. It looks like electronium. I have no clue what that is. 3 hours closer
That's
to going
euros.
home after every podcast to do more important things than playing games. Wait, is he saying 3 hours closer to going home after every podcast to do more important things? As in more important things than listen to the podcast?
No, I think more important things than working. I imagine he said working.
Or he paid to shade us and have me read it out loud. He may have tricked me into shading our podcast. I'm just joking. He didn't. Thank you very much. I hope we can make you enjoy your 3 hours. So anyway, full ports, right? Open 120.
Yeah.
We definitely want that. What about modding for... So you get this, people are going to mod it. I'm sure Sony's like, oh, we don't want to modding, I don't know, Tomb Raider in God of War, right? We definitely get that.
Right.
What do you guys feel Sony's stance is going to be about modding? Because I feel that of all the companies that don't understand modding, it actually is Sony. And that we could see a thing where Gaming Nexus stuff gets shut down. Have we seen any of that? Am I missing it? And maybe it's already...
I think we definitely could. I agree.
Okay, but it hasn't happened with Days Gone, right? Have I missed some news? That hasn't... Days Gone has not had a mod, because you can mod anything, at least a small amount. I just want to make sure that I'm not
I've heard.
anything. Okay. Because I feel Sony's going to mess that up. Sony can mess up. Sony can always get a little bit of failure out of every success. And I can see that they look at modding as like, how they hold their IPs like Nintendo.
Yeah. But you can also make the argument that Days Gone is kind of a lesser IP compared to like God of War. Or
true that,
where there might be bigger, like more attention from them on a property like God of War or Uncharted.
So I'm not gonna. I was almost gonna go there. Just thank God I didn't go there. That would have turned political. Yeah, I agree. What about what's the other one? Last of Us. Has that been announced for PC at all?
No, not yet. I don't think.
So Last of Us is missing. What else is missing from
Spider-Man?
Spider-Man. They lied and said God. What was that one that was really bad? Godfall. They said that wasn't PC. It's already on. It was on Epic Store very quickly.
Yeah.
So you got Spider-Man, Miles Morales. We'll just consider them Spider-Men.
Yeah.
And then
Right.
God of War. Gran Turismo has never been on PCs, right?
Correct.
Right.
It's going to be a really interesting time, man. It's going to be a really interesting time if Sony starts doing this. Like, are people going to call... Oh, Ghost of Tsushima. Thank you. I knew I was missing one, Facunda.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Yeah, I don't know,
Gran
guys.
Turismo is going to have it. Gran Turismo, I think, is going to have a tough time.
I think you and I
though.
talked about this already. It will, won't it? It'll get... Dude.
I mean,
PC
the competition for racing games is extraordinarily fierce on PC.
It is. And they're loud about... Like, I don't know if... Other than, like, console fanboys, I think sim fans are the other loud. Like, have you ever like gone into a sim forum and said which steering wheel you had, and it wasn't one of the $1,000 Porsche ones, where people are like, "Oh, pip pip," and you're just like, "Damn!"
Peasant,
where they like color your name in the forum. You never can go into admin jobs because they can't believe that you would trust.
Oh, you're in the kiddie pool.
Yeah, the Trustmaster kiddie pool. Oh, Ratchet and Clank. Somebody said that's another one. You know, Ratchet and Clank.
Yeah.
None of those. Okay. I forgot about those. What ones would you guys want to see first? Of all these, now that we know God of War's coming, not that. Is there a PC Returnal? Somebody mentioned that. Thank you.
Yeah, I would love to see Spider-Man on PC.
I would love to see Spider-Man. Yep, that was the one for me. Reg?
I like all of the Ratchet and Clanks, so the full collection of those would be mine.
Yeah, that would be good.
That would be awesome. That would be, and it would be cool because can you imagine the mods for a Ratchet and Clank game? Some crazy shit. What about you, Johnny?
I mean, for me, I know it's a boring answer, but it's Bloodborne because the differential between the original and what the PC experience would be like, is kind of the biggest that I can think of. Yeah.
No, that's a good. Certainly nothing wrong with that. I mean, I want Ghost of Tsushima, but I have a feeling there wouldn't be much added because we've already got a 60 FPS mode.
It's already so good, right?
Yeah. So I agree with you guys. I think all those are good answers. I just want Spider-Man though, because like I want to see. Well, man, I don't know. That open world game, they don't seem to translate to PC very well. Like that's the one thing is like, would it translate to where you're seeing much higher res, or is it one of those things where you got a 2080 Ti and for whatever reason the optimizations can't keep up?
There's something there that's bottlenecking. Yeah.
Anybody in chat? What's a game you guys want to see from Sony? Okay, if you want to see a game from Sony on the PC, what game is it? We'll just do it that way because I know some people. I don't want it. Gran Turismo would be amazing on PC with custom setups. It would. It's just that game, like, I know people love it because it's top dog, but it's top dog. It's like a high school football player being really good and then going to college.
Yeah.
You know?
Or the like class genius in like high school going to college and suddenly being like number 13 in class where I used to be number 1.
Yeah. Can't figure out what double digits are because they've never seen them. They've just always been, 1 through 9 at minimum, and now they're 13. And like, I don't understand what that other number is. Do I just add them? Am I 4? No. Let's see. Kenkin says, any thoughts on the announcement of the Invincible game by Star Wars Studios? Ex-CDPR devs making it. Thanks for the super chat. All I saw was the announcement.
Right.
I don't think there's much that we know about that. I mean, at this point, whenever anybody does an announcement, I put it in my back pocket as like, could be canceled.
Yeah, exactly. Especially in this time, right? Until we see a game out of it.
If it's far out, whatever.
Like the Wolverine thing, I'm all for it, but there's nothing there.
Exactly. And every day I'm trying to kill myself by doing something stupid. So it's like, I might not even make it. Let's say the game doesn't get canceled. I don't know if I won't get canceled. What if I fucking trip and fall when I'm doing something stupid? Like at some point, I look about 3 weeks ahead for games. I mean, because also we just had another delay for, what do you call it? It was just delayed. Elden Ring. was delayed.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's like we can get pretty close and they're delayed, right? So it's like that game, you know, it's like a constant
Didn't that
game of
also
tease.
get pushed to February?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's everybody and their mama coming out with a game in February.
Everybody and their
It is
mama. Your
February.
mama,
Yeah, it
my
is.
mama.
My mama?
Hey,
Yeah.
that's a good question. What game would your mom make? If your mom could make a game, here we go. Here's the question of the day. If your mom could make a game, what would the game be? What would it be
It
about?
would definitely be one of those Facebook games, either like do you know what I mean?
didn't
Like
even
the
think
farm
about
game.
that. Yeah, the Farmville. The really
Yeah.
shallow, like ding ding ding, with lots of like
Right.
colors.
A clicker game or something.
My mom would probably do. My mom would like Persona, I bet, because she was middle school secretary and like students and like. But the moment sex happened, she'd freak the fuck
minus
out.
the maid service.
My mom
part.
would lose her mind.
Yeah.
What would my mom do? She a horse. She would like anything with horses. So a horse riding simulator. I bet you she would like. She would make one of those. What about you, Reg? What's a game your mom would make?
Probably something with drawing.
Oh, is she an
I would
artist?
imagine. Well, no, but she enjoys drawing.
She enjoys
Okay.
drawing. VR, the VR paint programs.
For example, yeah.
Those things are
That-
so.
Imagine what a shit show with the shaky VR.
Yeah, dude, I've tried it, and my hands don't even shake, and I still can't do it. I've seen some people do the VR. There's some like videos you can see. Of somebody
Some
painting.
people are amazing no matter what the material
Yep.
is.
Yep. You just give them shit and some papyrus, and
And
suddenly you're
some
like,
people can paint a masterpiece with a pencil between their toes. So yeah.
I know. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true. And fuck that person, right? We don't like that person. I'm just kidding. What about you,
Such a
Silver?
show-off.
What would your parents, one of your parents?
My mother would definitely do like an argument simulator, like just arguing with
Like objection. What is that one?
Infinitely. That's Phoenix Wright.
Phoenix, right? Objection. You know, I'm surprised none of you guys said cooking. Because I
Cooking,
just assumed at our age, like all of our parents would have been slightly older school. I just assumed one of us would have mentioned like a cooking. But my mom cooked for effect, man. My mom was like, here's some sustenance, you will live. And that was pretty much, like a line cook.
The bang for buck line of cooking.
Yeah, and she made some nasty-ass food, man. I remember my mom, you always hear the joke about meatloaf, which I don't know why. Meatloaf must be hard to prepare because my mom's meatloaf was raunchy. It was bad. Like, I do distinctly remember that. Yeah, that's interesting. I want to ask my mom now what game she would make. I bet she'd probably do something with horses. It's an interesting thought. What about you guys in chat? What would your moms do?
Could make like a horse, like where you have to make, I forget what it's called in English, like a horse farm of breeding horses.
Equestrian, like breeding, breeding would be very
turning
cool.
into something else.
Animal husbandry, where you have to hold the penis as it goes in.
Stud simulator.
Right.
I'm saying you do. So
Yeah.
Which is funny. If any animal can't,
especially if you put that in VR.
That's on the animal. That's on the like. I let that animal die. If that like, have you ever heard that story where they say sloths are too lazy to screw? And I'm like, dude, if so, it's their time to go, man. It's their time. If you're too lazy to screw, that's on you. We did get a super chat from Drizzword. What are your thoughts on Total War Warhammer 3? Okay, I got to make some thoughts up real quick.
Very much looking forward to it. Creative Assembly has been dumping a bunch of content information the last couple of weeks for like campaign information and stuff. It all looks really, really interesting. So yeah, it's going to be. Unfortunately, it got delayed, but hopefully the game will be more stable and better for it.
Have you found that the Warhammer games have lost their luster?
No.
Okay. I just
not for me.
I'm having a difficult time becoming interested in the third.
Right.
Maybe that's because the second had a ton. We've talked about this before. Whenever the second of anything bangs it out of the park, and that's got a shit ton of
content and
of
stuff,
content. Yeah, I don't know. It's just weird.
I guess one cool thing about it is,
Cathay in itself, to me, looks absolutely amazing.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry,
No.
I just wanted to jump in because with 1 and 2 they did this cool thing where you have the big, is it Mortal Realms?
Mortal
Which is
Empires, yeah.
Yeah, so the big campaign that combines both games, right? So this huge map, and with 3, I think they're going to do the same, where they're going
They
to
are.
integrate all of them in like this massive epic campaign. So I guess the scale of that could be pretty cool, for sure.
Eric says, my mother would hide our controllers, but when she was gone, I'd find them in her room and then play and then put them back when she came home. We all did, man. We all were that kid, bro. Every one of us. I definitely did that. Zohan's asked this a couple times. How do you want the aiming in GTA Remastered to be? We'll get to GTA Remastered in a bit, Zohan.
Okay.
He's always ahead of us. Zohan must be listening to us at 3
He's trying to give you the segue. He's like, hey guys.
He's like, move it on. We're wasting time here. Yeah, I don't know. Warhammer I want to be interested in it. The first one I liked a lot. The second one I thought was pretty good, but there's something about it that's, maybe it's just because it does feel like it's rehashing a little bit. It's a little like Age of Empires. It's going to be interesting to see how Age of Empires does, because it's Call of Duty has this issue. It's history. And there's only so many times you can say this is World War II before somebody's like, yeah, we know. Like, we get it. Versus like fantasy or something. And Warhammer's got a lot of content, a lot of different games. For whatever reason, this last one just didn't grab me. Because it's got 20 DLCs for Warhammer 2? I mean, it's got so many DLCs.
Yeah. I forget it's at about 8 or 10.
Okay, well, I exaggerated by double, but that's still a lot of DLC when a lot of games get 0.
Yeah.
So...
I mean, if you include all the DLC from Warhammer 1, then yeah, it does get up there.
Is anybody else getting this but Silver?
I'm on the fence, honestly, about it.
And Red shook his head like not a power no, but it was more like a dexterity no.
That's a general towards the Total War series, though.
Really?
Like that's a game series I like the idea of, but I don't really like playing.
Right.
Gotcha.
Is it the tabletop part you don't like, the meta game of moving around, or is it the battles?
No, the battles are okay.
Okay.
I don't like the tabletop massive
part.
map that I know that's gonna take forever.
Just like in what was it? Pathfinder, when you're doing the tabletop part, and you're moving your armies around.
Right.
Yeah, the very pointless tabletop part in that. Yeah.
Mill Dinner, $5 Electronium super chat. I've been told that's Euro by Reg, but we're gonna go with Electronium. Have you played Metal Gear 4? If you didn't, would you buy and play? Others, would you play again? Would it sell more? That's a lot of... Damn, he's using his super chat up.
He's getting that value from
Have you played MGS4? Yes. If you didn't, would you buy and play it? Yes. Others, would you play it again? Other people can answer. Would it sell more than 1 million copies? I think he means if it was released today.
Re-released, maybe? I don't know.
Is 4 considered the best?
No.
I thought 3 was.
Yeah, I mean, 3 is definitely up there in the community.
3 was camo and shit, right? Wasn't it, Silver? Wasn't 3 the one where you're rubbing your down, with like bull urine or whatever?
Yeah, I mean, you did that in 4 as well, but in 4 you basically wore like a suit that automatically camouflaged itself to whatever your surroundings were. Whatever. Whereas in 3 you had to manually apply the camouflage for whatever you were terrain you were surrounded by.
Yeah, if you're going to be out there, you shouldn't manually have to do it. I like that idea.
I mean, the big thing about 4 is, I mean, gameplay is okay. It's quite good in places, but it's really let down by its story, which is way too overblown. Like, you have full-on cutscenes that are like 40 minutes of a kid frying an egg
version.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
like 40 minutes of basically a kid frying an egg in an airplane and talking.
Oh, I remember that part.
Yeah, very self-indulgent.
And then you have the final ending cutscene of the game. I think it's like an hour and a half of basically just one guy talking in his graveyard. So
Dude,
there's a lot there.
You talking about it for 30 seconds has already made me bored. There's no way I would be able to take an hour and a half of that.
Yeah, it's it gets to be way too much. And I think it is sort of a bit of a purposeful troll on the part of Kojima. Because he was so tired of Metal Gear Solid at that point himself.
And so therefore gamers were like, it's awesome. He's trying to overdo it, right? Which we're going to talk about in the next couple, we're going to talk about here soon about some games that do more than I think a lot of people expect. It's going to be interesting discussion. Can't really.
You know
say
what's
much more
also
about
interesting about that? I don't know if you guys feel the same, but that kind of game, I was fine with back in those days. When I played it, I thought it was fine. I didn't have an issue with the long cutscenes. Now, if a game plops a 40-minute cutscene and it doesn't have,
skip
good
cutscene by
pacing,
hold B.
I'm already like, bro, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a sign of the times where our attention span is like, you can't even read a fucking book nowadays, or if I'm just older, but it's changed.
I think also, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, I actually think we were enamored with tech back then. The tech to do that was new, and so therefore you felt like it was new. That's 10 years old now. And so now I'm like, get out of that and show me a different thing. And that's why you do get people saying, oh, this game doesn't invigorate its entire genre by doing something brand new. And I'm like, well, I'm not necessarily sure. It absolutely has to. But I think we were enamored with that tech because, dude, I remember getting the first CD and hearing real music and my brain just not being able to comprehend it.
Wow.
And now
seeing full motion video.
Or seeing full motion video. And I saw it at 16-bit color, like where it macro blocks on Sewer Shark, and you're like, this is fucking amazing, because you knew
it's Mark Hamill.
Yeah, oh god. But it was really just 4 blocks that sounded like Mark Hamill.
The first animated GIF on the computer.
Oh, yeah. Dude, and your brain
5
is
animated
just
seconds. Amazing.
Yeah, your brain can't figure it out. In a way, it's like porn or something where the human brain does desire more and more. Like, it can, it can get normalized by something. And I hate that term, by the way, normalized. We should normalize no one ever say normalize.
Normalize, not saying normalize.
Oh, dude. But I think we were enamored with the tech. We're enamored with all the techs. We were enamored with the Kinect for a little while until people realized it was shit. And it sold a bunch, and Microsoft thought we wanted it, and that was a disaster, right?
Poor Milo.
Poor Milo. That lie.
Yeah. Oh, but yeah. Long story short, I think we were enamored more than anything. Metal Gear 5 did. I thought Phantom Pain was fun. That is 5, right? Yeah, that's 5.
Yeah.
I just call it Phantom Pain. I thought that one did all right, but I want to jump to a far more interesting discussion about a game that is far better than Metal Gear could ever hope to be, which is Splinter Cell. So Splinter Cell, Ubisoft. Oh, dude, Metal Gear compared to Splinter Cell, Metal Gear is
get out of the park. It's not even in the park.
D tier. It's kitty car ride compared to a Lamborghini. You got Splinter Cell being announced as a new title from Ubisoft, and here is why I am deathly afraid of this. Because every indication is that it was simply announced because they were terrified of the response they've been getting from their games. That is not what I want.
Formally announced, has it? Isn't it still just rumors?
True. So let's ignore the entire podcast discussion.
Right. So
because I forgot.
Strongly, unofficially.
No, you're right. I just went off what I know. But you are right. It hasn't been announced yet. Okay, let's say it's announced while we're doing this podcast. Shit. Yeah, the discussion isn't the same. We really can't have this discussion until it's announced. It's a good point. Once it gets announced, my opinion
because we've heard these rumors about a new Splinter Cell game.
It's not the same.
A couple of times now. Yeah.
I know. But
and I agree with you. It sounds credible this time. It does.
But bear with me. If any title is simply announced because of the worry that the response from the other titles is not good, so let's grab an old IP, doesn't that terrify you? Like that's.
Yes. I mean, especially when you look at like what they did with Ghost Recon and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it does.
yeah, it's just that's nerve-wracking to me. I would rather have the organic desire to build on.
And especially because I can just picture like the Splinter Cell game, open world. You can select a male or a female protagonist character, and then go from there. And yeah,
Yeah, true. Zohan says, "What's your Zoyun?" I'm probably pronouncing this wrong.
where
He
all
says,
the linearity of this, all the linearity that defines Splinter Cell, it sort of gets thrown out the window.
well, that's going to happen. What is your fave Splinter Cell? Even though it is rumors right now. What's everybody's favorite Splinter Cell? If you remember the Splinter Cell games.
Yeah, that's the big if.
It's been a while.
I mean,
You know,
for me, Chaos Theory
Mine.
is kind of the favorite one that I remember.
Agreed. Yeah. I like that.
yeah, for me, it depends on how. Chaos Fury is sort of my favorite in terms of like story and tone. But as a stealth game, I honestly think Blacklist is the best game in the series and one of
Gotcha.
the best like actual stealth
So
games
it has
ever made.
it has better mechanics, but you liked the other one
Yes.
a little better as a package or something.
Yeah, and just for the Fisher character, the way he's sort of portrayed in that, like the banter he gets in Chaos Fury is amazing.
Dude,
especially
we got a
with-
lot of Chaos Theory
with
fans
Grim.
in this chat.
Look at that.
Damn.
Some Pandora tomorrow peoples too. Woo.
Yeah, but it's all chaos. It's one. Okay,
Yeah.
Blacklist one. Oh, Reg, I didn't ask you, but I know you probably can't remember because like
Correct.
those are old,
Yeah, I
right?
really can. Yeah. I remember the glowing thing on the back, and that's pretty much it.
Right.
Jesus Christ.
I did
So
also-
dumb. That's all he remembers.
Yeah.
It's just like Splinter Cell had the light, right? Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the end of discussion.
It
Go
also
ahead,
it
Silver.
also had what I really miss in terms of like movement for the PC that was never repeated was the like allowing you to control the pace of your movement with the mouse scrolling on the
Oh.
PC.
Slow, fast, was it analog almost like a thumbstick but on the mouse?
Yeah, kind of,
Yeah.
and it felt like you had more instances you could go between because you switched between them just by scrolling the mouse up and down a little bit. So you went from going so you could perfectly control like the speed with which you moved at all
Yeah,
times.
nice.
Much easier than you could with like an analog stick because you wouldn't move faster if you didn't move the scroller up or down.
I felt was Blacklist the one where he was in prison for a while?
No, that was Double Agent.
Good. Nobody's mentioned it. Santiago just now says, "Hey, have you played it?" I have played Double Agent, and here's what I want to bring up.
So have I.
I felt that Double Agent jumped the shark. Like
It
by
did.
that point, it was just like now he's in. And remember, it was like you could kill people or something. Well, you could always kill people in a Splinter Cell game. But what I mean is, there was some weird morality
You
stuff.
you were infiltrating a terrorist group
Inside
undercover
prison,
and,
right?
And so
Yeah.
you had to sort of balance the like doing the terrorist acts to sort of gain credibility with them, and then still staying true to the third echelon and whatnot.
I think most games, not all, fail whenever they try to do the double. I think you have the one game that we talk about where you're the good guy thinking you're a good guy, but you're a bad guy, the shooter that you always talk about, Silver.
Oh yeah, Spec Ops: The Line.
You have Spec Ops: The Line and a couple others. Most games don't do it well. You might as well just say, I'm the good guy, you're the bad guy, because once they start doing that, like that weird,
Play both sides.
yeah, play both sides, it feels very, you're just like, what? You're in a military group anyway. Like, it just, I don't know, starts to fall apart. And I felt I hated the starting to that game. Nothing felt good in that game.
Yeah. No, I agree. It's Double Agent is, I think, the weakest game in the series. I did really enjoy Conviction. Actually, it felt like a really fun, like Jason Bourne sort of game.
What was what happened in Conviction?
That was the one where Sam basically went on a rampage of
'Cause his
revenge for the
dies?
death of his daughter. Yeah.
Okay, I did like that one. So that was Conviction is
And you got-
the last one is
where you-
Blacklist, right? No, the last one is Double Agent.
Its main gimmick was those like really violent interrogations you could do of people.
Right. Okay,
Yeah,
I
where you
remember
could
that.
like throw them into the environment and stuff.
Yeah, I dig that. Anything like the Punisher where I can chew somebody up or do something horrendous. I love that because
crush their head against the sink. Yeah,
because I'm definitely one of those type of people to be like, I'm on the good side. I can do whatever I want.
Like Batman. Oh, I don't kill them.
Oh, dude. I'm going to hit you with my 15-ton vehicle and then explain it out loud so that people don't laugh about it. Honestly, that's some of the best parts of that game. What happened to Prince of Persia remake? Facunda says Prince of Persia got delayed. Yeah, and got Beyond Good and Evil for sure still being made. In fact, Ubisoft just did a what do you call it? A investor call, and they brought up Beyond Good and Evil. It is for sure being made. In fact, I'd rather not hear about them. People always say stuff like,
until they're done.
If we don't, and it's like, dude, the reason why you don't want to hear about them is because people like us attack everything we see. Dude, remember when, who's the guy who looks like Richie Rich? He came out and started talking about you can have your artistry in Beyond Good and Evil. He's the actor. He played Robin in Batman, in the Batman movies. Gordon Levitt,
Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Joseph. Nobody should have that many names. Whatever his name is, Levitt. He came out and he's like, in Beyond Good and Evil, you can have your music play. And instead of talking about the game or even discussing anything, people went off the rails and they were like, how dare you not pay the artist? And he's like, we are paying the artist. What are you talking about? And it just became this horrible discussion. And so they went away. They went into the darkness. And that's the best way to do it. Just disappear and then announce it later when it's done so people can't affect you too much. Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Plague Soul says. Thank you. He's not related to... No, nothing. Forget it. He's definitely not related. I thought he was related to the fucking musician who married... What's the musician who looks... He's all wrinkled up. Old. They all look wrinkled up and old.
Yeah, the old ones too, yeah.
But he married Pretty Woman for like a day. He married Julia Roberts for like a day. The fuck is his name?
I don't remember that.
Somebody's gonna remember. This is what I like having a chat for. Chat is like multiple memories overlap. Now, not always right. Right? You don't actually take action
like memory.
from it.
Yeah.
Well, so that's true. That is true.
Yeah. You know what's interesting about that? I was thinking about it.
Love it. Gordon Levitt.
Is it?
Gordon Levitt was heavily implied to be Robin. No, we know that. Who's the he looked like Ichabod Crane? Lyle Lovett. Thank you. You rock. Thanks, Alex. Go ahead.
But there you go. Right there. When they said it, you knew that it was the right one.
Yeah.
But that's interesting, right? It's almost like there's a second Karak inside you that you can't access.
We all live in the hologram.
Who knows the right answer?
I'm going to be Joe Rogan for a second. We don't have any actual like brain stuff in our brains. It's all from a hologram. It's being teleported
We're accessing another realm of cognition.
Yep. Oh God. Every time I hear him, I'm like, this is what happens when your parents are brother and sister and still fuck. Like, you should know not to screw with your brother and sister, but Joe Rogan comes out. Of course, he's a rich weirdo, but lazy garbage since the 2008 Prince of Persia. Was 2008 the last Prince of Persia? Was that Dark Warrior? Was 2008 Dark Warrior? Did you guys ever play that one?
I did.
Dark Warrior.
Warrior Within, I think
Warrior
it was.
Within, yeah. Remember that one? How edgy that was? How emo that one was?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. And it had the hard rock music while you were playing. I sort of dug it. I sort of dug that game, to be honest. Like, I didn't hate it. What else?
No, I didn't hate it, but yeah.
What's the next? What's the first discussion piece? Shit.
Yeah.
What time is it?
We got off.
That's because of you. That's because of you. You broke us.
It's my fault.
Because you started it. We started the podcast fine, and you said,
hey,
Sean Connery has to do with fucking Aristotle or whatever the fuck you were talking about. And at that point, we lost it. I'm just joking. What do we got?
We lost it.
Yeah. What's one of the topics?
So we covered God of War.
Yeah,
Reg.
but FIFA
Reg,
and EA.
I got nothing, Reg. What's
This is
amazing?
FIFA and EA could not agree to terms on the licensing deal.
Yeah, I saw that.
FIFA has gotten pretty greedy, so too greedy for EA. So EA has now decided to sort of forge ahead on their own, and FIFA has sort of gone, oh, well, if that's how you're going to do it, we're just going to make our own football game. So good luck with that, FIFA. We'll see how it pans out for EA, not having the license and having to change the name of their franchise to like whatever virtual football or whatever.
I mean, I guess FIFA was considered probably the best of their sports games. Would that be correct? That of all their sports
I don't know if
games?
it was considered their best, but it was unquestionably the most popular.
Okay. Yeah, which doesn't always mean the best, right?
No,
Yeah,
true. Okay. So, yeah, all right. So we don't really know which one is technically the best. I would say, I'll go out on a limb and say, from what I'm hearing, that one is considered the best, as in mechanically, it's more sound, and yes, you've got micros. But regardless, you have these two companies, they disagree. FIFA charged them wanted how much?
Yeah, we don't know. We don't have specifics on the numbers they wanted. Just that it was too much. I think they wanted like twice as much as the old one. Is one thing I've heard.
Damn.
So
they're going to make their own thing. Now, EA says we're going to make our game. How do you do it without FIFA? Do you just call it dudes kicking balls? Because they can't call it FIFA, right?
Yeah.
So can they call it soccer?
They can't call it. They can. I mean, they have. I think they have deals with players' associations that allows them to use player names, and they have they make individual deals with clubs that lets them use like clubs' names, clubs' jerseys, and kits and stuff, and national leagues that allows them to use those league fixtures and stuff. So they can do it sort of outside of FIFA.
Bootleg all the names, just change the names.
Bonaldo.
I mean that is one of the funny things, because of course FIFA competes directly with Pro Evolution Konami's Pro Evolution Soccer, which is now changed. Which is now changed named to eFootball. And they have other corporations with some clubs that then get denied from FIFA. So FIFA Soccer then can't use those clubs and have to sort of reinvent new names for them and the clubs and the players of those clubs in the game. And conversely, eFootball has to do the same for the clubs that FIFA Soccer has the rights to. So it is this sort of mess of rights in between the different clubs.
And somebody out there cares. I don't.
Right.
But somebody out there cares because they like this game. And or they like soccer, and
they like their team, and it's not in that game.
Yeah. So you got
they're like, yo, they got my club. I'm getting
somebody said PES. Okay, so it is PES. So you've got PES. Streven, $5 super chat. Time for the NBA Jam of soccer. I agree, but guess what? There already was. There was, I believe it was called Street Yard Soccer. There was a football, baseball, and a soccer game, and they were actually very cool. And they were the arcade versions. They weren't as over the top as an NBA Jam, but I agree with you. Get 3 people out there, the balls can kill each other, stuff like that. Like, let's do it, man. Because anything will make soccer better, including not ever being a thing anymore. Soccer is a terrible sport. It's not a sport. It's fucking horrendous. So, like, the less we see of it, the better. And I for one am happy that EA is not making the game, and I hope FIFA goes out of business. I'm just joking. People love this. People love FIFA. I don't think EA needs to hold the rights to any sport. I don't think a sport should have their rights be held by anybody. Does that make sense? Like, why would FIFA allow EA to own anything? Why would NFL allow EA? It
money.
Seems, well, no, I know money, but doesn't it?
Yeah.
Obviously. What I'm saying is, even if it was money, I would still say intellectually, I just don't want to be held in a contract with you, because what if some other company does? Let's say a small team comes forward and says, we want to make an NFL game with NFL in the title, but it's going to be 3 people on, and it's going to be like kill ball, but we still want to use, because the NFL players might be into that. Some of those guys are gamers, and they might be into something that's a little less numbered than what we're getting.
I agree with you from a fundamental idealistic perspective, especially with the view towards that an organization like FIFA should really be aimed at expanding the game which should then be aimed at expanding and allowing the license as broadly as possible. But really, the fundamental purpose of that organization has become to make money, which was also sort of epitomized by their most recent sort of endeavor, which is they now want the World Cup to take place on a biannual basis. So it currently takes place every 4 years. They want it to take place every second year now, FIFA, so they can get as many tournaments as possible, and because of course the World Cup is their biggest cash cow. So they want as much. So they want many chances to monetize that as possible.
So the NFL does a championship once a year. Baseball does once a year. What you're saying is soccer does once every 4 years?
That's the World Cup, the International World Championship.
Because it's international. People are fucking from everywhere.
Yeah,
so you got
kind of like the Olympics
team. Yeah. Okay, and so what they want to do is switch it to every 2 years because they believe. Yes. Has anybody stated, like, do the nations want that? Or is it too expensive? Okay.
No, basically only FIFA. And to be fair, a large contingent of like football fans, because they love the World Cup. So the more games for them, the better.
Right. But like, you know what Christmas is every day?
And the leagues
being rich.
And the nations themselves don't want it. Yeah.
No, Christmas every day is being rich. You don't want shit too often. That is why 4 years you get that gear up feel where you're like, oh shit, we're getting close. And that, to me, is what's exciting about soccer, or what I see other people be excited. I can't get excited for soccer, but I certainly see it in other people. Dude, I'll go into our Discord, and you guys are talking about shit that makes no sense, like scores of 3-1. 3-1 isn't a score. That's a warm-up. Yeah. But you guys are like, it's 3-1. It's 5. And I'm like, I don't know. But you guys are obviously hyper excited about it. The idea of taking it every 4 years and turning it to 2 seems really stupid. Colin Bright says 2 years was blocked. I'm assuming he means, I can't tell if he's as joke in soccer, like blocked the goal, or if he actually I can't tell.
Like the other leagues and nations effectively shut it down, but that doesn't mean that FIFA's just going to give up and say, oh, well, that didn't work.
It's like, oh, too bad.
That's like an army invading another place, and they like one guy dies, and they're like, all right, we're going back. Obviously, this wasn't a good plan. Every 2 years is a terrible idea. No city nation can sustain hosting them. Yeah. I mean, we had issues sustaining and hosting the Olympics. On the other hand, the Olympics is, 90% of it is super boring. So nothing against Olympians. They're amazing people, but like sometimes you just don't want to watch curling. I mean, some people do, but let's see.
Yeah, I like curling.
I like it because it's weird. But I don't know if I would like it because it's weird every year, is what I'm saying.
You like it for 5 minutes because it's something different. And then you're done.
It's so weird watching them. You're just like, it's like 10 things done at once that are all random, that somebody's like, let's make a sport of this. And you're like, what the fuck? And it can be sort of...
You're scraping the ground so the
I enjoy
friction coefficient is...
I enjoy the tactics of it. Like, how are you going to play? How are you going to play the stone? Where are you going to play the stone?
No,
it's going to work out.
It's definitely interesting. It's just not interesting enough. I would want to see it more often than we see it.
No, I get that.
Is baseball World Series every year? Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, World Series is every year, right? Am I going?
Yeah,
admittedly, baseball is probably maybe even least favorite.
It's still crazy to me that like the baseball season is 160 games.
I know.
It's absolutely nuts.
It's the amount of games baseball plays, and basketball too. Those guys are like, I get
hockey, like basketball and hockey are the same, like 82, I think.
Dude, but the fact that they're running, I still remember in football you have the huddle, you got the down, you have a lot of time where you ain't doing shit in football. And then I still remember the first time I went out for basketball practice, and I was like, fuck this noise. Fuck you. Because it was just, it never stopped. It never stopped. It was like, at that point, you want to kill somebody because you hope they'll fall, they'll hurt themselves, and then you have a moment to breathe because you're just like, this is the athleticism breath. Soccer is the same way. You're just watching these people run.
Hockey too.
Yeah, and you're like, dude, how much crank are these guys taking in?
It's crazy.
It is. Soccer's legitimately very impressive for the sheer amount of.
It's so funny because when I took my, I was a soccer referee for a while, and when I took my referee exam, there there was this older contingent of referees where they were really famous for never leaving the mid circle of the soccer pitch. Like they always stayed in that zone because they were too old to run up and down the pitch. Yeah. So they just stayed in that general area.
I absolutely could see that. Where you're like, what goes on down there? I don't need to see anymore.
Yeah. I can see it from here. I have glasses on.
Yeah, as long as you go get your radiotherapy on your eye, you're good enough. You're like, I don't need to go. I can see it from here. I got Hawkeyes.
Like, yeah, that's a penalty.
Yeah, for sure. What else do we got for somebody wanted us to talk about this GTA, so let's do that.
Yeah.
So, GTA Trilogy remaster got announced a couple days ago, a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago.
Weeks ago.
Yeah. And then today we got to see a gameplay trailer. What are your thoughts? Anybody can go first.
It looks better than I expected, honestly, because I remember them not looking that good, like that sharp. So it looks better than my admittedly low expectations. Like I did only expect it to be like a lower tier remaster,
like just resolution of the stock assets,
basically.
And that's it.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Reg, Johnny?
I regret seeing the trailer because it reminded me of how those games actually looked versus my memory of them. In my memory, San Andreas was fucking amazing, right? Was the shit. And then I saw CJ on that trailer, and I was like...
3 polygon arms.
Like, cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
Where, like, a part of my mind is like, no, it can't be. That's not... No. And then I kind of broke that illusion.
I agree. I think it's also why when we talked about this, when it was announced we talked about it on the podcast. I said I don't think these games still hold up well enough.
Right. Yeah.
And that was one of the reasons. And the other is just like the shooting gameplay. I don't understand how that can hold up today with games today and gamers' expectation today.
What about you, Reg?
Very mixed bag. Like some of those characters we saw in the trailer looked plasticky.
Mm-hmm.
Like they replaced them with dough figures, basically.
Play-Doh.
Play-Doh figures, while others just got a reshade and seem to have the same amount of 4 polygons that they had before. I don't know what's going on there. I will say that the graphics improvements, like adding reflections and the fog, etc., at least those parts are more than I would have expected.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I see. So sort of like 50% one way, 50% the other.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I didn't expect the reflections. They show the rain, more cars in one place, not more cars in another place, which was weird. But man, I got to say, man, it looked bad. Like I first of all, the reshade cell shading thing I get, and I'm actually fully for, but because it's just on the characters and not in the world, San Andreas looked weird. And that's one of the problems, is that I think Vice City you can get away with that. Because Vice City already looked caricature almost.
Stylized.
Yeah, stylized, thanks. That's exactly what I meant. And I don't know, man.
Very Miami Vice, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Pastels.
As I told you guys prior to the podcast, because I had already asked about it, I'm just like, this is a company that has it's got so much money. It's that what they showed me, I feel should be free. And that's just not even me being a jerk. It's not me like going, I really do feel that what we saw there looks like a reshade. They've got the same kind of polygon, like we joked about 4 polygon arms, especially CJ. He holds out and you're just like, damn, son. Not even like tessellation to fake that, by the way. I feel that is not what I was hoping for. And especially when they said, we're going to a new graphics engine, I think that's where we got our resolution and our reflections. And so you see resolution reflections in some places, but then you see these characters looking all fucked up, and I don't know. I think it's more of the Ubisoft. Do you guys remember the Ubisoft trilogy? I think it was the Ezio trilogy.
Ezio trilogy.
Yeah, and my thoughts towards remasters are still the same. You're still getting 3, and you're getting them to work on the new system. But like you said, if gameplay is not changed, that's a rough sell.
Yeah.
Because the aiming in GTA was terrible.
Yeah.
Dude, it's bad. It's bad. It was improved in 5, but still rough. 4 was actually noticeably rough, but then you go back to 3, and San Andreas is bad. And GTA 3 feels not unplayable. I'm not an idiot. I can get used to anything. It's bad, though. I mean, it's ancient feeling. So
I mean, it didn't feel great even back then, frankly.
Right. Do you know what some modder has already showed? You know, like people have already said the mods look better, which is true. Somebody, I'm really surprised somebody hasn't just behind the scenes isn't just making their own version, and then the day it comes out, they release their mod called like, GTA Trilogy mod remastered to look better.
I mean, the GTA trilogy never won popularity on the mechanics of its shooting. It won popularity on the fact
Sandbox.
that what you were doing. Yeah, like shooting shooting a civilian with a flamethrower, and then all of a sudden, like 3-4 police cars come up.
Sure, but other games have now. We've moved on from that being okay.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Completely.
True Crime is another game that doesn't control well. The original, by the way. True Crime 1, the Chinese ancient mythology one. And it had all this weird shit, and it was like, oh, this is fun, but then now you go back and you're like, I cannot play this game. The control is that bad. It's just like, we'll talk about Saints Row in a second. But, yeah, man, I don't know. I don't know what you guys, I mean, I expected more. I mean, there's just no company with more money.
No, but at the same time, like money doesn't always make a difference. It's not always a question about money.
Correct. But it's always not made a difference up until now. I would like somebody to finally be on the side of it making a difference.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
we know what you're saying. I want it to make a difference.
Absolutely, especially because you would think they could set up like separate new Rockstar subdivisions or studios that could then handle like a full remakes or full.
I bet you those motherfuckers spend more money on Tuesday cookies through a year than they did on that remaster.
I mean, they probably did spend it more likely on investor payouts.
They gave it to the interns, dude. They were like, "Listen, dude."
Well, their interns should get paid, so that's good.
Uplift this throughout the weekend.
Yeah. Upload this reshade.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's sad. I just wanted. I mean, because, yeah. Well, we'll get to play it. We'll see. Maybe it's magic. Waxo plays. Trailer reactions were split between thinking that they look like Roblox characters to being excited that they now have fingers. $4 super chat. $4.99. Yeah, I mean, do they have fingers? Did they get away from flipper hand? I didn't look at the fingers, strangely.
The block hands.
Yeah. That's a good positive because the block hand thing does bother me. So if they're no longer masturbating with like the fucking muffin hands that they used to have.
Minecraft block hands.
Oh, dude, I hated those. They look like the old flippers you'd get when you were a little kid and they wouldn't trust you with gloves and you go in the snow. Yeah. Milder says graphics aren't worth full price, but the content is. What do you think? Provided they don't cut songs. Do I think no? The content is already created, so I don't know if $60 is worth getting the songs. Is what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah. What are we gonna say, Silver?
I honestly don't think it. I would recommend it as a buy. Even
yeah. I mean, even up until right now, unless something massive changes.
I just don't think the gameplay holds up for this day and age compared to what else is on the market.
Yeah, true. Any chances they are updating cinematic mode? That's where GTA 5 really shines for me. What's cinematic mode? Is that where you can make your own movies?
Cinematic mode in GTA 5 was in the travel when you could see. I don't know if that's what they're talking about, but when you're riding the horse, you can go cinematic mode and it shows like panning camera shots.
Yeah, sure, right. That was fun.
Yeah, they had that in, I think, from GTA 3, I think.
Like, Red Dead Redemption, right? That kind of thing.
I would think that would stay the same.
Just watch the trailer. Hands look all right. Well, for a $1 billion company, I guess all right is
hands
far
look
as
all
we're
right.
getting. Hands look all right. That'll be my review.
Good enough for government work.
That'll be my review. Hands look all right.
Wrap it up for the weekend, boys.
Hands improved. Hands improved. Definitely better. What else do we got for discussion point? Unless anybody has anything to add about GTA. No? Okay. What else do we got?
No.
Well, couple things.
Let's do it.
The Uncharted movie trailer. I know this is not games, but it's kind of game
it is
tangent
Uncharted,
or
so,
game related.
Yeah.
So this is the movie with Tom Holland and Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
And Mark Wahlberg, as usual, he looks a mix of jacked and confused. He's like, "What's going on?" Right? He's always slightly confused.
He's
isn't he?
diffused. Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it looked quite decent. I mean, Tom Holland is a bit interesting as a choice, isn't he, for Nathan Drake? How do you guys feel about that?
Go ahead. What do you guys think?
I felt initially he was probably too young, and he had too much. He has too much of that. I don't know if you want to say like the Peter Parker, nice
Bit
kid
boyish.
in school, boyish air about him still. But on the other hand, maybe that will work for what they're doing with the film. So I don't know. And with the Drake character in the film, the Drake character in the film may not be the Drake character from the games. So I don't know. But that was my initial feeling.
Reg?
I don't know. He has just a very smackable face.
Yeah. I will say this is a younger Nathan Drake because Sully is very young as well compared to the games, right?
True.
So Mark Wahlberg is Sully in the movie, and he's quite young for if you would compare it to what we see in the games. So maybe we're seeing like a young version of Nathan starting off.
Presume from what I could gather from the trailer, this is where they meet. Drake, Nathan, and Sully. So this is the first time they meet. So there is that.
Let me tell you why this was done. And I'm putting my soul on this, which is, I can't lose it anyway because I don't got one. But I'm going to bet my soul this is what happened. The reason why they're so young is because they want multiple movies and they don't want to age out their actors. And that is why. Because if this works out, because I'm going to tell you, there's no world where Nate looks like that fucking kid. And I like him, by the way. And I like Mark Wahlberg. I have no issue. Mark consistently looks like you said, like he's doing a math problem and taking a shit. The dude's never once looked normal. But that's fine. I like him. I like his movies. His movies are over the top. They're fun. They're action-packed. He's actually fun to watch in a movie. And he's not a terrible actor. He's just not a good one. He can get you through to your next time where somebody's getting shot in the face. That is what I need in an action movie. But those guys don't look at all like the Uncharted the fans grew up with. And one of the reasons why isn't that I'm saying, oh, it's not my version of Nathan. I don't own Nathan Drake. What I'm saying is I believe the entire reason is because they do not want a Nathan Fillion who is older now. Nathan Fillion, by the way, I don't know if you guys have seen him, looks fucking tremendous. He lost almost all his weight. They just showed a podcast to him, and I'm like, that dude looks
like $1 million.
Yeah, because for a while, he looked like he was holding his mouth and his nose and just blowing air into himself. He was getting pretty big. He was getting pretty hefty. And he's lost that. He looks much healthier. He looks much happier. But there's no way you go with that, because what if, God forbid, you have an Indiana Jones moment? Harrison Ford's been hurt on every movie he's done in the last 20 years. Every movie. Go back and look. Motherfucker tripped over like the world and broke a leg. He got hurt in Indiana Jones, tore a pec. When you tear a pec, by the way, if you're not benching, that usually means you're old. Your shit's just not stretched out. Pecs are used for everything. And he tore a pec. He's ancient. And I think Sony wants to make sure that they're ready for a trilogy. And they want to buy in on Nathan Drake being Tom Holland, who's a good actor.
I think that's part of it, but I think the other part is like how studio executives in Hollywood think, which is
Tom
kids,
Holland is Spider-Man.
The younger demographic are going to be able. They're going to be. They're going to relate to Tom Holland more than they're going to relate to Nathan Fillion or an older actor in that part. So we're going to go with Tom Holland to hit that demographic.
But let's be honest. Everybody I know who's 14 or above loves John Wick, and Keanu Reeves is 7,000 years old.
You are correct.
He doesn't even look like a human anymore.
You are correct, but I am just saying how studio executives.
No, I agree with you. No, in fact,
yeah.
what I was stating about the youth in the three movies that I think they want is actually, that is what I meant.
Yeah.
Like that is exactly because they want to sell to those people.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that is by guaranteeing the health, hopefully the health of your movie stars. Yeah. And it's sad, man. It's sad. It's good because I like Tom Holland. That guy's a good actor. He's funny.
Yeah.
He's not like, I'm not like, oh my God, I love him, but he's a good actor. And again, I like Mark. But I will say that when you set somebody up for a certain thing, imagine Gears of War, right? You get Gears of War and it's Liam Neeson as Marcus. It would make you go, wait, what? Like that doesn't fit perfectly. And I think right now we look at this and we're just like, whoa, we'll have to see how it works. But it looks like Goonies to me. I'm not being rude. I like Goonies.
Yeah.
But that's what it looks like to me is it looks like it won't skew the way I thought it was going to skew. And is he going to be killing people with a gun because he had no gun? And is he going to, like, he's not jacked, which I'm not saying Drake is jacked, but Drake is mature jacked. Does that make sense? A person who's grown into his body. Holland hasn't even grown into his body yet. I mean, he's still got another like 5 or 10 years before I would say he looks like.
And not only that, but the Drake we know and love has a certain swagger and panache to him that only comes through years of doing this shit and having become really good at it. He has some funny, clumsy moments, but he's really good and
it'll be
proficient.
Fucking so interesting to see because, dude, they could have also chosen DiCaprio. You know, somebody. You know what I mean? I'm not saying they could have.
No,
but,
definitely.
Like they could have because we don't know Hollywood casting. So, like, it'll be. I mean, the movie's got to change a little bit tonally because at least from what I saw, that looked like a goal. You know how Indiana Jones 1 was sort of. Da, 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 da. 2 was like, what the fuck? It's dark. I'm ripping your heart out. And you're like, Jesus.
That was Spielberg and Lucas going through divorce.
Just let's fucking tear people's hearts out. Shum today. Yeah. So you got this dark ass second one. And then the third one goes a little bit back to your status quo. Yeah. This appears to be the first one. And I think that's okay. Maybe that's what they're looking for and I'm sure somebody said this at Sony. What about Indiana Jones? Because Indiana Jones is dying. Like Harrison Ford he's constantly dying. For the last 20 years, Harrison Ford's been dying. Like, we're just waiting for it to finally happen. He's crashing airplanes. Fate's like, listen, bitch. He's crashed an airplane like 11 times. The dude can't land an airplane. He just crashes it each time. He hasn't died yet. So you know he's going to die soon. And Sony, not to be rude, but those guys are looking at gaps. And like you said, they look and they're like, hey, man, Indiana Jones... They tried to replace him with LaBeouf or what the fuck is his name? Shia, and that didn't work. LaBeouf. So I don't know. It just seems skews young. It skews young. We'll have to see. I'm excited for it. Fuck, I'll watch it.
Yeah.
I'll watch. I like Goonies.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a clumsy, funny version of Drake. It looks like. So we'll see.
And Tom Holland, man, have you guys seen him in something serious? Because I haven't, but I know he's a good actor.
Only in the Spider-Man movies, which are semi-serious, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. Real quick, super chat. Mill Dinner says, Resident Evil 1 GOAT video game movie.
Yeah, not so much.
Oh, does he mean? Oh, he's talking about the actual one.
The original one with Mila
Jovovich. Yeah.
Paul Anderson.
And Michelle Rodriguez, and I guess it had some.
Man,
I've
seen wet, sodden cardboard act better than her.
You know what, dude? I think it's the same as the GTA thing. I remember it way better than it actually was.
Oh, how? Because if you remembered it better than it was, you would remember it as sucking horribly because it was fucking horrendous, dude. She can't act, man. I like her actually. I watched her
right
Lost.
Now, man. We'll rewatch that shit, and you'll be surprised.
Challenge.
It wasn't that bad.
I will never rewatch that movie. Not in a million years will I rewatch that. I cannot watch. I watch her in every. I will never stop from watching a movie with her in it. I've never once liked a movie with her. Like I've never once liked.
Did you see Joan of Arc?
with Jovovich. We're not talking about Jovovich. I'm talking about Michelle. Sorry.
Oh, Michelle.
I
sorry.
apologize.
No, okay.
I'm talking about what's her
Okay.
name? I'm not
Right.
talking
Michelle
about
Rodriguez.
Yeah, Jovovich has been. I
No,
like her
I
Fifth Element.
should have known when you mentioned Lost. Yeah.
Yeah, and she was in Lost. And I apologize. I should have been clear on that. So, I don't know if I even remember anything about Resident Evil 1's movie though. Were they even in the mansion? Were they in the original game?
They were not really in the mansion. They were mostly in the lab underneath.
They were mostly in the lab. Yeah, okay. I remember that. God damn, man. Was that who was that her future husband? Was that Anderson who directed the first one?
Yeah, but they didn't marry. She married Besson.
She married
French,
Besson, you're right, from Fifth Element.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah. All right, moving on from there. What else we got? Anything?
Silver has his closing thoughts on Far Cry 6.
Oh shit. Why is Far Cry 6 the best game to release this year, Silver? Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm stumped on that one.
Slick segue.
I don't have an answer for that one. I finished Far Cry 6. Mixed feelings. I really like the setting of Yara. I think it's really, really well done. I'm not so keen on the story. The story has some good elements. I think the strongest part are the parts in El Este with like the old revolutionaries. I think that part of the story holds up relatively well. Unfortunately, pretty much all the other parts do not. I think a lot of it has been made of Giancarlo's performance as Anton Castillo. I thought the villain was boring. Really, I didn't feel like there was a lot to him. He doesn't come off. I mean, the key thing I think you want in an authoritarian leader of that nature is charisma. And Castillo just does not have charisma. He's not He doesn't have that magnetic personality that draws you in and says, "I want to follow that person. I want to be loyal to this person." He doesn't inspire loyalty in that way to me. So all of that part of the game really sort of fell flat for me. The gameplay is not great. Like the shooting is hurt, I think, by the change to the ammunition, the different ammunition types that you have to switch between.
Yeah.
The fact that you can't really switch them inside your weapon, you have to load a specific ammunition type to a specific gun, and then you have to switch between these weapons as you're fighting different stuff. It never feels right. It never feels fun or rewarding. It just feels like a chore. The biggest disappointment to me was because Ubisoft's greatest strength has always been world design, but like the capital city of Esperanza in the game is just so poorly designed.
It's a PS2 game. I thought it was broken.
It's just these closed off segments where
it's so bad.
All the traversal rules of the game, like the mountaineering,
no longer work.
Parachute, the wingsuit, vehicles, none of it works anymore. You're only allowed to go on foot, and while you're in these areas, enemies will continually spawn and home in on you. They will know your exact position, so you cannot stealth in these areas even. And like the design philosophy that goes into these areas sort of boggles my mind, because it runs counter to the rest of the game. So when I reached that part, I did nearly put the game down and say, no, this is not for me. I feel like at the end of the day, it's still a bit. I enjoyed it more than I did Far Cry 5. It feels schizophrenic, like a lot of other Ubisoft games, where it's this oddly mishmash of all these different things. Like it takes all this revolutionary iconography, like the last time I talked about the use of the revolutionary song Bella Ciao, but then it doesn't, like, what is the most iconic revolutionary global symbol. It is the AK-47, right? The AK-47 is so iconic to revolutionary struggle that it is even embedded in national flags of countries that supposedly won their freedom with the AK-47. And yet the AK-47 is barely there in the game. Like, guerrillas will run around with it, but for you, it's only really just like a secondary gun that I think even like 98% of players won't use. It was the only gun I ever used, but that's just because of who I am. But it's this bit player, and like it's a beret, the second most probably iconic revolutionary symbol, because of Che Guevara, only really comes into play at the very, very end of the game. So you have this mishmash of like revolutionary iconography and language and the way it's used and employed that feels really, really dissonant and weird.
I agree. I don't really have any disagreements there. I think with not throwing shade, but you know, sometimes when one of the reasons why I've really stopped looking at reviews or listening to other people's reviews is because sometimes I really start to get angry because I feel somebody hasn't played the game to a certain point. And I felt that way with this, where people were talking about graphics, but nobody mentioned the city. And by the way, the city, just so people know, this is not a joke. It is PS2 level. It is where I legitimately was DMing companies saying, it's not loading. I can't, there's no people, there's no places, and the textures look like cottage cheese. Like, something's definitely wrong here. And they're like, nope, that's the way it looks. So we didn't see that a lot. And, you know, I don't know why. Maybe people, you know, I don't know. I feel sometimes like I'm just getting jaded or something. And that maybe looking at that, other people thought it was really fun. But it's like, what was fun? Because there was nothing to do. Yeah. It looked like shit, and there was nothing to do. So what's fun about that?
I also had, there was one moment in the game where I got a tank. A mission awarded me with a tank, and I thought, oh, this is going to be fun. I'm going to drive through all these roadblocks, blow them up. It's going to be fun. Then there's a Jeep that pulls out in front of me. I hit it with the main gun from the tank. It takes off 20% of the Jeep's health.
Yeah.
It takes 5 shots from the main gun of the tank to destroy the Jeep.
Yeah, it definitely had some issues. It definitely had some issues with damage. Kakisha, $5 super chat. Thank you for the super chats, people. Thank you for the love. Played Visage with headphones in a dark room. So good. I don't know what that is. Is that a horror?
Yes.
New horror game? Gotcha.
It's on Game Pass as well, I think.
Excellent. I've not got a chance to play that. I'll check it out. I've actually been looking for some scary games. Mildener, $5 super chat. Guys, do you play online together? Would you do it for stream it? Far Cry 6 would be perfect. Reg and I played Far Cry 5, but we played since then. But the only game I've played online with people from the Discord at all, these guys don't even have, which is Back 4 Blood.
Well, we've done
I have
Legends
it installed, but it crashes all
together.
The time.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, it crashes. And we did Legends. We did do Legends.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to be brutally honest, though, Mill. I don't like to stream if we're... Like, at some point, I want it for me. You know?
I'd be more laid back and just kind of...
Yeah, and not have to worry about the tech. In fact, we stream to our Discord more than anything because the Discord, you push a button, and if it's fucked up, you can just be like, hey, you guys, it's not working. But I stress out. Like in YouTube and trying to I want to make sure everybody's having a good time. So yeah, we just don't. In the Discord, people are doing it all the time now.
And in Discord, you're just hanging out with people. You're just
people can actually chat, which is nice.
You don't have to read any chat, etc.
Yeah. And even if you are, because sometimes we'll pop in with a mute, it's not required. It's not required of me, which I think is a big deal. So my personal belief is that what I upload, even if it's a dog video, you guys may think I didn't spend any time, but I spend a ton of time, like making sure dog video is funny, even though 20% of people probably like it. I don't want to do that with a stream. So that's why you don't see us stream. But it's a good, I'm glad you like those kind of things. And, you know, as stuff changes, you will certainly see more stuff from me coming up. I am working with a couple people on getting content. And actually, a couple things have already been posted. People haven't guessed that some new stuff is going on. So that's very cool. Clearly, you didn't load that tank with the right ammo, MD Payne says. Yeah, the ammo system in Far Cry
I think that is actually the issue, because I think the tank I used is a flame tank. Sorry. But
it doesn't matter.
So it was loaded with flame ammo.
Nah, I
completely agree. It shouldn't matter. It shouldn't matter, but it clearly did.
I shot a dog like 12 times in the head, one of the attack dogs.
Yes, also that.
I have to tell people, I really worried people are going to freak, not because of the chicken fighting, because they live. You at the end, you grab them like Street Fighter, but the level where it's you and the dog versus the chickens. And I was like, or no, it's you and the chicken versus the dogs. And I was like, PETA's gonna shit. Because you just mow down the dogs. You just, dog after dog. Bark, 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 bark.
Right.
And you're just taking dog after dog. And I'm like, oh, people are gonna lose their mind.
And there's also the inverse, where there's a guy, it's a side quest, where some guy has bred like super killer chickens. And when you do that side quest, when you complete it, the game will continually spawn a batch of randomly of killer chickens on you, like just intermittently from there on out.
Ubisoft has a thing with chickens. They've got a thing. Like those dudes have a hard on for chickens. But anyway, moving on from there. Long story short, Far Cry 5, best game of the year for sure. You should get it. Slick, smooth, amazing acting, absolute incredible cityscape. You want to go there as quickly as possible. In fact, skip the other stuff. The really cool looking jungle and forest areas, those aren't nearly as cool as the city. Get to the city area. I'm telling you right now, your time will not be wasted. Let's move on.
Mm-hmm.
Let's do free games, and then let's do free games.
No.
Let's do free games right now. Go. Free games, Reg. Reg isn't ready.
Actually,
ahead,
while Reg prepares that, he mentioned something
ready.
cool.
So there you go.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you have something else that I wanted to talk about, but go on.
Okay, so free games, totally free games. First, on the Epic Games Store, we have Among the Sleep Enhanced Edition. On Indie Gala Color Tone. Yeah, okay, that's it with the totally free games.
You ain't getting anything free this year, bitch.
Nope, no more than that. Okay, then I have to scroll down and see if we have anything else. We have on Xbox Game Pass, so that's subscription, no longer free. Dragon Ball Fighter Z for the Xbox, Echo Generation for PC and Xbox, Into the Pit for PC and Xbox, and Outriders has come to PC. The Good Life for PC and Xbox, that's already last week. And I think that's it. Yeah.
Riders Republic is out for the early beta right now, correct?
I believe so, because it should be out in like a week, so I would think so.
Yeah.
That game got a lot of positive buzz, so it'll be very cool to see what people think of that game. And maybe if that's Ubisoft's saving grace this year in their stream of titles, because their titles haven't done so well. So that could be one. Everybody I've talked to has really liked Riders Republic. I mean, genuinely, people who were surprised have liked Riders Republic. Johnny, go ahead.
I would be really surprised if Far Cry doesn't sell well, though, because the marketing blitz for
Far
that
Cry
game
already sold well.
Intense.
Yeah, UK put their numbers out. It's already number 2. Alan Wake and Far Cry 1 and 2. I think it was 1, but Alan Wake remastered was number 2, which is positive news, because we want Remedy to do well so that we can get another one. Johnny, what did you want Reg to talk about?
Yeah, so Reg brought this up, and Nvidia GeForce Now is getting a new mode, and I think Stadia too, with 3080s, right, Reg? So you have the data on this. It's like a new tier in their sub.
Yeah, GeForce Now is adding a new premium. I don't know what it's called, but a new tier that costs twice as much what the regular tier costs.
Oh.
So it's $100 per 6 months instead of $50 for 6 months. And you get access to a 3080 level GPU. Like, it's not an actually 3080, it's some server hardware GPU, but it's about the level of a 3080. What I found strange is that at least for the start, you only got 4K and HDR streaming if you're also using their hardware as a receiver. Otherwise, you get no HDR and 1440p as a resolution for the stream. Yeah, and they also added, I think, new limits for time limits. So it used to be the free tier that still exists, was limited to 1 hour of gameplay till it kicked you. And then you could just reconnect, but at 1 hour, you just get interrupted for a second. And the paid for tiers were log in and stay online however long you want. And now those are all limited to, I think, 6 hours for the medium tier and now 8 hours for the higher tier.
I don't. You mean what? You have to pay and you can still get kicked for hours?
Yes.
What?
Well, not 4 hours in total, but after 6 hours, you would get kicked from the server and you have to log it back in again.
But you're paying.
Yes.
On GeForce Now, do you buy the game?
No, you buy the game wherever you bought it. So it could be Steam.
Sorry,
GOG,
what I mean is you're
whatever.
not renting the game like Xbox.
No,
you're actually buying it.
No.
So they're kicking you from playing your own game?
Yes, they're kicking you from their Steam streaming service if you're connected for more than 6 or 8 hours, depending on the tier.
So in a row, or does
In a
it, or is it like
like
Cumulative
in a row?
is what he
Like
means,
if you
cumulative.
log in, stay online 6 hours, then you get kicked.
Gotcha. And
So
this
what
is
is
the
it-
mode
what is the
where
downtime you're allowed?
It sounds
There's
like
a-
you can just kick you
Immediately.
right back on.
Yeah, immediately.
Okay.
So it just interrupts your game. It just stops you from having fun.
Yes. Well, it stops you from whatever you were trying
I guess from hogging the.
But you're
I
not.
don't know.
That's not stopping because now the login server has to log you back in. So that I'm sorry. I don't care. I bought the game. Like, because right now I can stream from my home with their thing and with Moonlight or Moonbeam or
do.
whatever.
Yeah, Moonlight.
Moonlight.
No, Moonlight was correct.
So you can use those. But this is stating I buy the game, and Stadia still does their free one, right? Doesn't Stadia
Yes.
still do the 1080? And that one has no limits, right?
Don't think it does.
I don't know about you guys. I don't find that fair. That just seems. I know somebody's going to be like, dude, you shouldn't be on there for 6 hours anyway. But this isn't fucking China. You can't control me. If I want to play my MMO, well, wouldn't be an MMO. But if I wanted to play my strategy game, for a certain amount of time, I don't want to be kicked from it. I wonder if does it set your thing up? Does it pause you, quick resume, so that you don't lose your save?
No, I don't think it does.
So you mean you could be playing?
I have used GeForce Now a couple times, and you have to fully log back in every time. Like you get a new virtual machine.
Right. Your session is gone.
Yes, looks like it's.
And just in case someone is confused in chat, because they have the two modes, don't they, in GeForce? They have the one where you run the game in your own machine,
Yes.
and you stream that.
That one's unlimited.
That's unlimited.
Yeah.
We're talking about the one where you're using their
It's running on their
virtualized
But
server.
you're
machines.
streaming your game.
You're
Yes.
streaming the game you've
And you're
paid
paying
for.
them.
In the
No,
Yes.
you not only have you paid for, you're paying them.
You're paying them. Yeah.
You're paying them literally just for running the games you
no,
already
fuck
bring
that.
along to them.
Nah, sorry. Like no one can describe. I don't.
This is a principled stand.
That's not even a principled stand. I bought that fuck. Like that, I bought it and I paid you. I paid you for your fucking service. This is the same way when Comcast will like artificially tell you have unlimited bandwidth, but they're lying and you don't. It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
they'll give you unlimited and then they'll start. It has that. That is not, and also what Reg is saying, if it's not doing a quick resume and it's kicking you from a game, I've played games where you can lose 3 hours on a quick save. Not that it probably has a timer that pops up and is like, you got, which is great. If you like to suck shit, because that is a terrible idea no matter what. There's no way you could ever tell me that is like an acceptable.
Yeah, it's like the fair use policy you were saying, like for ISPs.
you also don't get back in again quickly because you have to log in.
You're going through a share server, a sign-in server.
You're going in at a new virtual session. It pops up the Steam login. You have to copy and paste your password.
What fucking benefit does that give them? Is what I want to know. Because you're now powering down a server, probably giving that to somebody else, powering yourself back up. Are they just
I imagine they're just preventing people from running game servers there for cheap.
Oh, gotcha. Right. So like so if there's a game, but there's not a lot of games that allow for like dedicated game server where the person is not
my only
playing,
idea.
You know,
because
but
they do have a white list of games that can even run on there. Right. So it's not like people are running whatever.
Yeah, true. That's true too. Yeah, they whitelist the games. So they're basically selling you a service that doesn't work all the time, can only use some limited games that you already purchase, and kicks you off.
Yeah. For $100 for 6 months.
So that's 15, 13, 12.50, 11.50.
It ain't great.
No, it's terrible. Like that's terrible.
Yeah. I'm not digging it.
I didn't know that. I honestly did not know that. And I'm always talking up GeForce's home streaming. Certainly.
The home streaming is fantastic.
The home streaming is fantastic, but I can tell now.
Once you've set it up and worked around the kinks.
But I'm telling you right now, I hate Stadia, and I would tell you right now to use Stadia over this. Because at the very minimum with Stadia, at least, as far as I know, when you buy it,
there's no time
limit. It's unlimited.
There's no time limits. Yeah. And there's no time limits. Like, that should be the only, we should end the car.
Is that like an idle protection? Like if someone is idle in a game
to stop somebody from running a
idle protection probably as well. Like you log in and you just leave it running because why not?
But couldn't you just do a check on that machine too? Like any game normally does and be like, dude, the guy hasn't moved his mouse for...
Yeah, like Netflix, like, dude, are you still there?
Metal Gear has an hour and a half cutscene. What if I don't move
implementing a check like that would have taken maybe 5 hours, 4 hours, and just disconnecting after a set amount of time was probably half an hour. So that's
in program time, you mean? In programming time? Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry, they're ripping you off. At least as far as I can tell, I think that's a ripoff. But whatever. So there's no free version now. Is that
there is still the free version is completely the same as it was.
What is it? 1 hour?
1 hour, yeah.
So 1 hour, 1080p. I'm assuming. Do they have a resolution limit?
Actually.
Because that's the one thing with Stadia.
It's probably less than 1080 because the first paid tier says up to 1080 60 FPS. So the free is, I don't know, but less than that probably.
Okay.
So 720 would assume, right?
Probably, but it doesn't list it.
Karak.exe has crashed. Is not responding.
Less than 1080p.
Time limit.
Cannot parse.
I'm re-signing in. That was my time limit. We've gone on for 2 hours. Just give me a second as I re-sign in through this. Yeah, no,
and I do my 2FA authentication shit.
Oh God. Yeah. I mean, I can't really.
Well, the problem is also, I don't know, I haven't logged in on PC into the service for a while, but you couldn't even paste in your stuff. Like I have like a long password for Steam, and they don't allow pasting of text.
Oh, interesting.
So you have to type it, yeah.
Yes.
Wow. What the fuck?
Okay. Well, that was
that's just unusable. That's what?
Yeah,
that's unusable.
Dude, back last time when I was trying to use it on PC, I found people doing like auto scripts, desktop applications to like type in the password you have in your clipboard.
Yeah. Do a little shell script for that shit.
Yeah, exactly. A little BAT file. All right. What do we got for independent games, Silver?
We have a zombie survival game, actually. Just
7 Days to Die PC version? Let's do it.
Console version, the best.
Not quite. It's actually the most interesting I've seen in a very long time. It's called Undying. In it, you play as a mother called An Ling, and you have a small boy called Cody. that you have to take care of. And the hook is you've already been bitten by a zombie, so you're dying. Now you have to teach your 7 or 8-year-old boy how to survive without you in the zombie apocalypse. How to forage for food, how to cook, how to take care of a zombie, how to take care of himself. And of course, the really fascinating mechanic is that you start off typically in games, you gain strength as you progress. You get stronger and stronger. Here, you start out at your strongest, and then you get weaker and weaker. So Cody starts out being dependent on you, but as the game progresses, you start to become more and more dependent and reliant on your son doing the stuff, and so it flips, and it's really, really interesting. The art style looks very, very reminiscent of Untitled Goose Game, where characters basically they don't have a face; they basically only have a nose, and so the only way they sort of express their emotions and stuff is through their animations, which I think is handled really, really, really well. I think the game is really, really beautifully animated. I really, really enjoy the art style. It launched into early access. It is one of the most interesting and unique survival games I've seen in a genre that is very, very saturated. I don't have to tell anyone. It's really unique. It has a really, really interesting idea. So it's going to be really, really interesting to see where they take it. And
how much game do you get right now? Is it like a couple hours?
I haven't finished it, so I couldn't tell you how much is there exactly. But a couple of hours at least.
So can you do a poor job at teaching Cody, and then when you're reliant on him,
it'll probably count down and say Cody lived another 4 hours before he was eaten. And then if you do better, it'll be 5 hours.
Or you become reliant on him, and at that point they're like, you didn't teach him well, so now you're fucked.
Humans, zombies shit must stink bad. Sorry. I was just thinking about eating a bunch of humans, what it must smell like.
Right.
I'm just saying, it's more interesting to me than...
because
I'd kill the kid.
I mean, generally speaking, predators' fecal matter tend to smell more than...
That is true.
Herbivores, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen it. I saw a trailer
go for the vegans, guys. Go for the vegans.
Go for the vegans. I saw the trailer for it and thought that was... I mean, it was somewhat interesting. I don't like early access anymore. I don't know if you guys saw, but Everspace 2. They were talking up there some new early access stuff, and I'm done.
I missed that one. True. I've seen that. That's also on Game Pass now.
Or Everspace 2?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, early access, I get the idea for it, but it's just too hard to track stuff now. And whatever experience you're getting in that game, you just have no clue, what the real experience will be. So I just step away from them now. And when they come about, hopefully they come around quickly, I'll play them. But I'm not really jumping into anything early access anymore.
Yeah, I hate the idea that I'm paying full price usually for a game, and there's no accountability from their side as to when they're gonna release it. Right? Because if they told me, here's the deal, you're paying now, and you're helping us develop it, but we have a commitment, we have a roadmap and a plan for when it's gonna come out, and we're sticking by it, right? But you're asking to... Yeah, it's a lot of goodwill they're asking for.
I just want to be able to experience the full thing.
Right. Yeah.
I wouldn't pay to see the first 30 minutes of a movie.
Oh, yeah.
No. Yeah, and we don't want to be a part of fucking troubleshooting
for the
practical
most part,
effects
exactly.
in The Lord of the Rings. No, I want to watch, when it looks good.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
You know what I mean?
Being the one who's like, dude, the Hobbit's feet look weird. Got to fix that. Yeah, I'm done. I mean, some early access maybe I'll check out if it's doing something completely crazy, but a lot of them, they don't lie. They're just so nebulous on what you're getting to. Be like, remember, this isn't a full game. And you're like, yeah, but what is it? I need to know the amount of hours. I need to know how big the landscape is, because half of these sons of bitches are survival games. It just feels like they're all survival.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So many.
And so for me, there's just... I mean, other space games I like, but then weirdly enough, this version of Everspace 2 is not Everspace 1. I would have gone more for an early access Everspace 1 than early access Everspace 2. This is more of a the way this one is just a little less interesting. So, has anyone ever gotten into Dying Light like pretty far and actually got your hands on guns? And how is that game? How is that gameplay? Dude, getting guns doesn't take a long time in Dying Light.
No.
Yeah, no, it doesn't take a long time. And guns they work well. They're not amazing, but they work well. I don't think anybody should have a worry about that. People are asking about Guardians of the Galaxy. That's next Monday is the review for that. Next Monday is the review for that. There's a couple games next week.
Okay.
That
next Monday. That's earlier than I thought.
Yeah, well, technically it's later than it should be because I think release is the next day.
And you said people can stream it already?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
they're streaming it right now. Yeah, it's one of those weird. One of those embargoes.
It makes no sense too, right? The embargo, like,
makes none. These days, man. Whenever anything like that pops up and I see it, I'm just like, whatever. I'm just, just stepping back, doing my thing.
Yeah,
and I'm not really getting.
Do you think it actually hurts them?
Yeah,
as a game, like the fact that they don't have any reviews out, but the impressions are coming straight from.
Much. It's not. In fact, I would say sometimes not doing reviews causes people to early order. They're like, I just want to get in. But
for sure.
Watching a stream, they get hyped, right?
Dude, and not only that, but you're not allowed to give impressions or anything. So some people are just doing let's plays with no talking.
Right.
So it's the game, and you're just like, dude, you just lost. I mean, and I have no issue with somebody watching YouTube for a game they're not going to get. None. But I do believe that if that's all out there, the reviews might as well just go live. Because here's what's weird is, sometimes you'll get, and including this one, you'll get an embargo that says you can't say certain things, but the Let's Stream will have it all. So that's actually what's occurring. There's certain things you're not allowed to talk about in the review, but people are streaming the full game. It's like, that doesn't make a lot of sense, but you just have to. Some companies, that's what they do. They're old style, and they've got sort of weird dates on stuff. Sometimes you'll also be told one thing, and then, a week later, prior to a game going live, they'll be like, you know what, just go ahead and, do the reviews.
Right.
Which really sucks, especially if you are a scheduler like me. There's been a couple times where I'm like, okay, I'm scheduling for Wednesday, and on Monday, they're like, if you want to do the reviews and post them live, you can now. And I'll be like, what the fuck? Like, you should have just said that. IGN just put 17 minutes of gameplay. Yeah, IGN is able to post whatever they want.
I should just briefly return to Undying and say it's $15 on Steam. You can get a demo for free, and I looked up the length, and it's 30 days of in-game time that you get with the current early access.
Hey, at least it tells you that. Most games don't even go that far. At least it gives you that much data. So, speaking of 30 days, that's probably all the time I've got left in my life, because yesterday I had 47 Uncrustables. And
what?
Did you see my post about ordering 500 on accident?
Oh, I did. Yeah.
Yeah. But I had 47 yesterday, and I woke up this morning sore because, like, inflammation because of the sugar. Yeah, dude, I felt like I'd lifted 10,000 weights. I just sat, I was playing games, fucking just like working out, eating these fucking things. Man, I mean, dude, like sugar, muscle soreness,
hard crash.
Yeah, that my pancreas was like, fucking, dude, what the fuck? It was still good though.
Happening?
Had a good time. They were good. I fucking enjoy those, man. Dogs liked them. We had a good time.
I love how for you it was still worth it. Like,
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. I mean, like, that's the thing. You gotta celebrate life, man. And I celebrate Uncrustables, and then for months and months and months, I won't want to have one. That's just the way it is, man. Like, yeah, I had a good time. I enjoyed the fuck out of them because they're not being made currently because of COVID, but they were at a like warehouses, where food goes out and stuff like that. And I found a store that actually supplied them. When I did, I was like, bang, bang. But I meant to order 5 boxes, or sorry, I meant to order 5, which would have been a total of 10, but I got 500. So we had to empty the fridge. I posted the picture in the Discord of just 500 Uncrustables sticking out of my. It's the entire refrigerator.
Was your wife like, Jeremy, what the fuck?
Like, it's completely low end on the crazy shit. that she has seen. Low fucking end. I'm not lying. The shit she's
doesn't
seen
even register.
It didn't register. I posted the picture. She didn't see it. She came home. I told her. She looked, giggled a little bit, shut the door.
Checks out.
Checks out. Yeah. And in fact, her shit that she normally puts in the freezer was in the fridge. She didn't even get mad. She just like looked up, realized there was no room in the freezer, looked down, saw her frozen shit in the fridge, and was just like, all right, whatever.
That is love.
Dude, or just
Or resignation.
giving up. Just giving the fuck up. Just like, whatever, dude. Whatever. I'm sure that's the way it is, but I'm like, I'm also about that. I'm like, whatever. I don't care. I mean, shit happens, man. I ordered 500 on accident. I'm not going to, what am I supposed to do? Tell the person to take them back? That's rude.
Right.
I mean, I'm pretending like that's why I didn't accept them all. When 500 showed up, I'm not going to lie, I did a little dance.
Did you get like a second look from the delivery person? They're like,
no, I'm sure
Bro,
they thought a child's party
you hosting
was
a
occurring.
fucking
Yeah,
commune
I'm
in there?
absolutely sure they thought like a birthday party was occurring, or they thought I was trying to smuggle kids in from Somalia. I have no clue.
Yeah.
But
yeah. What operation you got there?
Yeah, what kind? Yeah, slave trading. Human. What do you call it? Human trafficking. No, I didn't. I got them, and I was like, yeah, whatever, man. That's life, and I ate the fuck out of them. Had a really good time. They've been awesome. What flavors? I got mostly strawberry, though I believe there's some grape in there. I believe, but I don't know. I eat them pretty quick, so the taste less important. I'm just joking. They all have peanut butter in them. That's all that matters. Peanut butter and jelly, every one of them. So good, so good. Let's see. 30 days. You only get to play the game for $15. 30 games, 30 days. Oh, they're talking about his indie game.
Yeah.
What else do we got? Are we done? I think that's it for our
I think
news,
we're
right?
done with topics. I do think, though, what is your prediction for your review of Square Enix's Guardians of the Galaxy? Do you think it's gonna pop or it's gonna flop in terms of numbers? Because that, for me, is one of the big question mark games. Some people were like that for Far Cry, but I knew that Far Cry was more Far Cry. So if you like that, you're kind of...
I don't feel comfortable talking about that. Because it's too close to my review, and there is an embargo and stuff. So I can't really give what I think it'll do, because I think my brain would...
It would influence your... Yeah, okay, fair. We'll have to see. My prediction is that it's going to do very well, because a lot of people are like, what the fuck is that game?
Yeah, I will say that when you go to a lot of places, you
it.
see a lot of people who are like, oh, the combat looks this or that, maybe not looks the best, whatever. But the positive reaction that I've been seeing is insane. And that's probably because Avengers is bad.
Yeah.
And because this reminds you, so, when we were younger, you didn't have multiplayer, but you had the single-player games with multiple people on your team, and you could move them around. So for a lot of us, this isn't brand new. It's sort of like a return to whatever. And I think that's all I'll say. Yeah. It'll be very interesting to see what people think, because... lately, so for example, Aliens got like one person playing, and people were like, Aliens, the most amazing, wave-based shooter in years. And I'm just like, it's not. I don't even know. I feel like I feel like I live in an alien world. What? Because that is not it doesn't have any long-standing stuff. So lately, there's been times where like the critics. I think critics always agree or disagree, because I do believe that the best game in the world will still have somebody say it's shit. That's just the way it is.
Right. Yeah.
For sure.
So I never worry about Divergent. You'll see that all the time. People like to pretend that they're like it's new. They'll be like, there's Divergent reviews. Like, I don't know if they just learned the word Divergent, but that's been happening since day one. There's always been me who doesn't like Breath of the Wild. There's always been a me who doesn't like...
You and Reg. Yeah.
Yes.
Reg doesn't like Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, I also don't like it.
I understand it's a good game. It's just not for me. Or Death Stranding, right? So there's always... Well, Death Stranding is shit anyway. But you get my drift. There's, other than Death Stranding. I'm just joking. But you get those. And I just lately though, I've seen shit in reviews. The Far Cry thing really did bother me, and I actually have stopped. Like for a while, you even asked me. You said, "Do you re-listen to your reviews?" Blah blah blah. I'm like, no, not. I don't really need to. I know what I said, but like people will ask if I watch other people's, and I gotta say, lately I've really stopped because a lot of times I question.
Everything.
I just don't know why things aren't mentioned, or how they got to something. Like, and I don't mean a score that disagrees with mine. Sometimes there's been scores that even agree with mine.
The specifics of the reviews.
Yeah, there's some specifics. For example, the Far Cry thing, like a lot of people just didn't mention shit that happens in the later game. And I'm not saying I'm not saying you have to beat every game. I absolutely am not. There are some that you're just not going to be able to, but just at least say that. So that we understand that maybe something that does happen, you maybe didn't see or whatever. I don't know how that works, but it's happening a lot. And it's also happening where I feel like people are not rushing reviews, but maybe they're just, it's more about them or something. I don't know how to describe it, man. It's becoming more about like the brand of them versus the game. And sometimes I'm like, when I listen or watch or read a review, I'm like, this is more about IGN than it is. Well, for example, that's a perfect example of the one that Kotaku had that crazy shit about a couple months ago, where half of the review was based on like real life stuff. It had nothing to do with the game. They were like, just so you know, it was an Activision game. It wasn't called, it was an Activision game that came out. What the fuck was it? But they spent a good deal of time talking about Activision as a company and not the game at all. And by the time you finally got to it, they were like, oh, there's some guns and some guys do some stuff. But the game's a 6 because that's not very good. And you're like, but what's not very good? I don't understand, because their entire first part was like, and you should remember that Activision's in trouble for blah, blah, blah. And it's like, so I don't know. I can't remember what the game that was, but it was Activision, because I do remember it was when they got sued. Would that have been...
was it the Diablo remaster?
It was a Diablo.
Yeah,
where I went
There wasn't even any data about Diablo.
And PC Gamer even stated, we're not done, so here's our Diablo 2 review from 1997 or whatever. And I'm like, what the fuck are you... What is happening?
Meanwhile, they had time to write a whole diatribe about...
I don't know. It was a weird situation, so, we'll see. I mean, hey, at least with Guardians of the Galaxy, people can watch it now on live stream. Early. I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's not a great way to get your info as to whether you're going to buy it, because on a stream, there's always like natural hype because the person is playing it for the first time. Chat is copy-pasting shit, right? It can give a false sense of...
Remember when people said Dungeons and Dragons was good? Wow. Like, what game? What version of Dungeons and Dragons were they playing? I want to know what revision number of Dungeons and Dragons people were playing when they thought that game was good. Because it wasn't the same game I was playing. That game was shit, man. I'm sorry, man. That game is bad.
Yeah, and sometimes I don't know if the person streaming is so intent on trying to have a good time with what's there, because maybe it's sponsored, right? And they're trying to have the best time they can. And we see this with some big streamers where, they are getting paid to stream it.
Yeah, I did talk to a couple. I'm not going to drop names, but I did talk. People know who I talked to, but I did talk to somebody who mentioned that.
Because I guess they have to make the best of it, right?
Well, no, you're told to not ding on the game. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. If you're even if you're streaming it afterwards, you're told to not ding on the game. And if you're not told, you're probably assuming that you probably shouldn't. If unless you're a reviewer.
Yeah.
If you're a reviewer, then
you don't want to burn bridges and that kind of thing.
But if you're a streamer, yeah. I mean, they're told, and you've got people watching, by the way. So this is something mind-blowing. I did not realize this until recently. People thought, oh my God, this is surprising. People thought that companies and developers were watching streamers because they just wanted to get in on the action. That's not it at all. And even the Vermintide guys were very clear when they were on our podcast. They were like, we're there to tell them that the bugs are being looked at or whatever, because all games are buggy. All game, will have some kind of bugs. They're not there to fucking like celebrate their game. Not day one. They're there to stop issues that occur. And in fact, the Vermintide guys were very open that one of the streamers had an issue with like his IP, I remember. And they were freaking the fuck out. It wasn't about them like all sitting together like, Kumbaya, my lord.
Yeah, jerking each other off.
Yeah, dude,
like...
it had nothing to do with that. And I didn't realize that until recently, because to me that was such a 1, 2, 3 that of course they weren't. It has nothing to do with everybody being hunky-dory. It was quite literally damage control. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. But there is something wrong with people not knowing that. And that disturbs me because people don't realize that the damage control, when somebody drops in my stream, if they're a dev for that game, unless you're like me, who can't even fucking remember my own patrons, which helps. But imagine if you're a streamer and you see the dev pop in. You know, are you going to say what you want to say? I don't know. I would. Fuck it. Takedown did. Got to give all the kudos to Takedown. Takedown was playing this bicycle kill game. It was this weird, like, he was on a mountain bike, and there were, like, all these weapons that could kill you. And he's
I remember that.
Yeah, he's like, I love this. This is shit. I hate this, but this is awesome. And the developer was in the chat, like, not mad at all. Because I think sometimes they just want to know, too.
Yeah.
Like if you're like, if I'm having an issue, they know that unless something is weird, I won't be the only one to have it. It's just not possible. If I'm having it, there's a good chance somebody else will have it.
Yeah, it can be replicated.
Yeah. But man, I was blown away. Yeah, I was just talking to somebody who I thought knew a lot about games, and they were like, "Oh yeah, they're just coming in there to be all like blah blah blah," and I was like, "Whoa, wait, what? No, they're not. They're in there to stop you. Like, not to be rude, I'm sure it's a psychological thing. I would do it. I mean, it's like sending your friends to an away game in soccer, right? You want some psychological support. That's what you're doing. Yeah. They're not fucking adjusting the... It's not like they're getting the fucking soccer ball and playing themselves. So, I don't know. But you are ACG. They already know that, LOL. They already know what? Santiago is so bad at memory, he had to write his name twice. I'm just saying.
Santiago.
So I'm not the only one. He's like, Santiago, and then just let it go. Right. Anyway, what else do we got before we wrap this up? That's it, right?
I think that's about it.
Chat, what are you guys playing? Go ahead. Go ahead, John.
A quick question about DLCs in games. Because I recently played Iki Island from Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
I thought it was okay because I love the base game. So it was just like more of the same. But I do find that sometimes DLCs have problems like differentiating themselves from the base game enough to warrant jumping into it. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like the Iki Island one was lacking a bit of identity, IMO, outside of the trip and learning a bit more about your dad. Really didn't have a ton else. Whereas I feel a little bit, whereas it kind of lacking identity a little bit. Whereas, for example, Horizon Zero Dawn had its really polished and Frozen Wilds and had its identity with the snow and new stuff.
Do you know why, though? Because Frozen Lands traveled somewhere. Shivering Isles with Oblivion? Or is that Morrowind?
That was Oblivion.
Oblivion travels somewhere. If you travel somewhere in a completely unique location, you can fuck around with things. But otherwise...
I think that's it.
Devs
because you do travel to the island, right?
Exactly.
But it's
they
not
don't
far
want to
enough.
fuck much up also with the base game. So the reason why they don't add a ton of skills and stuff is you have to basically bug check the entire game now too. Yes. So like if you add a brand new skill check, you do have to bug test if that skill check will work. Yeah, or stance. Yeah. So, but I get you. I mean, I definitely agree that Ghost of Tsushima I liked. But I think, you know what? I just defended it. I think you're actually right. Ignoring my defense, I actually think you're right. They could have done more with the story to make it independent, I guess.
Yeah.
Without
And for me, in a game like that, if you add something like a new stance, something cool, all of a sudden, that's a reason for me to replay the base game with that new gameplay system, you know, and get to experience a new layer on it almost. But I thought it was a bit of a missed opportunity.
What if they... see, and I think that bug testing is such a big deal that the stance is just...
That's a good
The game is based on a pyramid, and they're probably nervous about a quad. But what about... What if they had decided that the enemy type could infiltrate the base game or something? That could have worked. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, because we already get some stuff from that game going into the base game, but what if they said... like when you unlock it or whatever and you face those guys, if you go back to the old place, the bad guys know of you, so now they're coming into the old island. Do you see what I'm saying? You could have probably done that. You could have probably
integrated a bit.
Yeah, and been like, maybe they come, you know how what's Assassin's Creed got? Mercenaries? Remember, they have the name.
Yeah.
What's the Origins name?
Oh,
Silver? The dudes.
That was the Philakitai.
Yeah, so those guys come. Why not say occasionally these other guys come to the what were they called? The mouth singers. They had the fucking magic users in
Oh
E.T.
yeah,
Island.
the throat singer
Throat
dudes.
singers. Yeah, he sounded like a guy who had a fucking stoma. I would love to have those guys show up. I think that'd be great.
Yeah.
And thank you guys for the support on the reviews. I am seeing it. We're just randomly yakking about shit. You guys rock. Share the videos though. God damn it. Share the videos. Put it on Reddit. Put it on places where people are going to talk about it. If you don't, then you talking about how much you like the reviews is just false. It's just blabber, man. It's a blowjob without deep throat.
Put your action where your mouth is.
Put my action where your mouth is.
Yeah.
I'm just joking. William Stanley says, I have a hard time going into a game I beat already with new DLC. Oh, I hear you, man. I would agree with that.
You know, my favorite DLC for Oblivion didn't actually give like a new map. It was the Knights of the Nine DLC.
You like
which I
that
think
one?
I've talked about before.
Yeah.
But what that DLC did was it probably gave us one of the best like final or boss fights of Elder Scrolls, where at the very end, when you've collected all the Crusader armor and the Crusader sword, you're basically fighting like the big evil bad guy in the sky, up above like Cyrodiil, and then overlooking like the entire area from like bird's eye, like from heaven, basically, where you're basically fighting him. And like that moment really, really resonated with me very powerfully, as one of the most memorable moments I've had in Elder Scrolls.
And that's a cool change up, right? Because the main game didn't have it.
Absolutely.
So now you're like, whoa, what the fuck? You know, as long as the side guy isn't more powerful than the main guy, which I have seen that in some DLC.
Yeah.
Where you're fighting the DLC and you're like, dude, I'm getting my butt kicked. But the main guy in the game, I can wipe, you know. Dude, Far Harbor was awesome too. I don't care what anybody says. If you like or dislike Fallout 4, it doesn't matter. I got to tell you right now, man, Fallout 4 has some of the best DLC ever in Far Harbor. That DLC is phenomenal. It's a horror style versus all the other. And that's another thing I like when it changes it up. For
has
example,
its identity.
Yeah, Assassin's Creed did Jack the Ripper for Syndicate. And it started introducing the murder mysteries in Unity and Syndicate, I believe, where even though those were in the main, they weren't just DLC, but you were like, wait, what am I doing? Like, this is normally I'm stabbing all the guys, and now you were like tracking footprints, and Reg is completely checked out. He's like, what do you guys even fucking Let's talk about something Reg likes. Reg, go.
Persona 5.
No, not Persona 5.
What are you liking right now, Reg? If I said, dude, what brings you joy in gaming right now? Is there or an anime?
Well, I am currently watching more anime. That's true.
What's the one you talked about yesterday?
Eden Zero is the one I'm currently watching. I'm only one episode away from finishing the season.
Is it the crazy anime? Or is it like...
No, it's not. No, it's not crazy.
Okay.
No.
Oh, did I recommend you that one, Reg? Fena, the Pirate Princess?
I don't know.
Bro, I don't know if I gave you the tagline, but it's a crew of samurai pirates in a submarine.
So the Pirate Princess is not in the game? It's dudes
no,
on a submarine?
She's a part of
that is sort of a trick.
No,
That's
she's
clickbait.
a part of that.
That's clickbait.
No,
clickbait.
there is a princess.
Yeah, is it a princess or is it a prince?
She's a princess, bro, and she's a part of the crew. Okay.
Okay, so you have a princess, part of the crew,
that's
the sub.
Trapped in a submarine.
That's trapped in a submarine. That's some handy
Not
wipes
trapped.
are going to be
Why is she
needed.
trapped in your
scenario? Because you're in a submarine. You're not getting out and walking home.
Yeah.
I mean,
You're trapped in a submarine by de
anyone
facto,
who's inside
bro.
a
It's
submarine is
submarine.
defectively trapped.
You're effectively trapped, Johnny. What are you talking about? Unless you know something I don't know about submarines, bro, which is possible, you're trapped. So why is this?
They call them iron
watching?
coffins for a reason.
Yeah. Why is this one worth watching? Why have you?
It's really cool. It's a cool setting. It's a mix of pirates and samurai, which is kind of a weird mix, I guess.
Yeah, but I was asking Reg, who
that's...
hasn't had a chance to talk.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. I wasn't
Apologize.
dissing on you at all. I was asking Reg just because he hadn't talked in a while. That was
Go for it.
Right.
and then we'll hear yours. No, I wasn't dissing on Johnny.
Well, it's just light entertainment, I would say. It's not one of those crazy animes. It's more comfort food, like a bit of space opera, science fiction stuff, where you have the typical hero trying to do good stuff. He's pretty much a goody two shoes.
Mm-hmm.
He's a bit naive to the ways of the actual world, having grown up being raised by robots instead of humans.
Wait, what? But he's on a sub? Are the subs?
Well,
are the
no, that's mine. That's not on the sub. He's on the spaceship. That one is.
The
on
sub was my thing.
Yeah.
The sub was your thing. Okay, yours.
Sorry,
Reg. No,
yeah,
that's
I
all right.
confused everything.
Reg. Okay, yeah. Actually, yeah. So real quick. So Reg, yours is based on a spaceship.
Yes, correct.
Okay, I see. He was raised by robots, and now he's like socially inept kind of thing.
Pretty much. Yeah. And he wants to be friends with everyone. Like he's just going out into like a forum where tons of people are and just screaming basically, "Who wants to be my friend?"
He's the equivalent of a YouTuber on Tinder. He's like, "Somebody like me." What?
Yeah.
How many? You said you're done with a season. Is there multiple seasons?
I think it's only the one, but it was 25 episodes long.
Oh
so
shit!
it's a lengthy one.
What's the anime like? Is it like cartoony, or is it like really high level, or is it more like Dragon? Because I've always thought not. What's the one with the cat whisker kid? Got the cat whiskers, super popular. Not Dragon Ball, the other one.
Fairy Tale is the only one I know with cat.
It's the dude with the two slices. Oh my god! It's like the second, or is that Dragon Ball? It's the second most popular. No, it's not Dragon Ball. What am I thinking? There's been like 10 games for it.
Naruto?
Yeah, Naruto.
No.
So with Naruto, do you
Right.
believe that Naruto, what level of animation would we consider Naruto? Because I consider it pretty basic. As in, it's fantastic, but it's like frame rate.
Right.
It's that freeze sometime. Is it more like Samurai Champloo? This
I
one?
would say it's pretty smooth.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Because I would
It's
like to see
from the same guys that did Fairy Tale, if you know that one.
I do know that one, just because people talking about it. I haven't seen it.
That's the same one, and there's some cameos from characters from that anime as well.
Did you ever see the original Record of Lodoss War?
I did.
I thought that was pretty good. That's the only other one I've seen. Record of Lodoss War, Samurai Champloo, and
I think you might enjoy that, Rich.
Robotech.
That's,
Yeah,
that's an oldie but a good one.
Record of Lodoss War. Oh yeah, Reg would like that one a lot. I think. I mean,
It was basically sort of inspired by Dungeons and Dragons, sort of.
you know what I liked about Record of Lodoss War is the anime was understandable by a Western audience because it was based on D&D. So you sort of knew that when the cleric was there, you were like, I get it.
Yeah.
You know, you could.
Yeah.
It wasn't like
The archetypes.
I gotta kill myself to gain psychic power to talk to a mask that transforms into a fucking egg that I shove up my butt, and then that transforms me into a flower, which then ejects my love onto the universe. And you're just like, that's just saying hello in the game, right? That's like the opening title. Yeah, Record of Lodoss War is huge. It's
Also, it had pretty
was a
good.
long time.
Had a pretty good follow up with Legend of Crystania, I think it is.
Was Legend of Crystania after? Based time-wise after?
It followed I forget the name of the one of the bad guys, like the Dark Elf.
Yeah, I don't remember
Asthma,
their names.
or whatever he was, like the guy, the Dark Knight in that game, and his like Dark Elf lover.
Yeah, people should check out Record of
them.
Lodoss War. I know it's a little older, but if you're, because somebody's asking what can I get into, I would actually say Record of Lodoss War, even though it's big, it's actually somewhat easier to understand to Western audiences where shit's just not. Sometimes, man, you watch an anime and you're like, the fuck?
It's a lot more grounded. It's a lot more
There's a lot
grounded and
of
relatable.
stuff.
Yeah. I've watched a couple where it's been on, and like I don't even understand. Like, I still remember the first time. What's the big Akira? and some dude is in a
Yeah.
tank and like
Yeah,
swells up and
yeah.
explodes, and that was the first thing I saw, and I was like, the fuck is happening? And I get that people may like that, but to me, I needed the story to get me there.
I think,
and so
there's another one I think you'd like, called Golgo 13.
Dude, I know the Super Spy, the Hitman. Yes,
the Hitman. Yeah,
that one I have seen. Okay, so I've seen that one, and I played the games for this SNES. Was that SNES for Golgo? Because it wasn't PlayStation.
I think
right?
so.
That would have been SNES or NES.
Yeah.
Johnny wanted to talk about Seaman. Can't win.
Can't
win, Johnny. Can't win after that.
There you go.
Okay, real quick,
Fina
though.
the Pirate Princess.
Yeah. So what?
There's semen in it.
Right.
So it's a sub, and
yeah, it says anyway. It's an enjoyable. It has a mix of like wholesome and funny moments with an interesting setting and really pretty animation and stuff like that. So it's.
Are they battling other subs? Do you get to see like sub battles? Is that what it's about? No.
Not this far.
No. It's just a sub where
it's just a
submarine.
They are like pirates in search of El Dorado. Like
okay, the City of Gold.
The mythical, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a mix of those kind of classic archetypes and some famous
So when they do battle,
characters.
is it more like they go onto an island to look for El Dorado?
No, it's more like samurai fighting. Like sword fighting.
Okay, but on land,
mixed
not
with,
in the subs. They don't like battle.
Mostly on land. Thus far, it's pretty. Yeah, I haven't seen.
What's this one called? Because this actually interests me. What's this one called?
Fena the Pirate Princess. Fena.
Is she the main character?
Yeah, she, in theory, holds the key to
El Dorado.
Understand where El Dorado is gonna be. Basically, yeah.
Dude, I know
like her. Yeah,
I know it sounds shitty, but one of my favorite cartoons of all time. And I know that people there's that big 7 or whatever about the robot, and people love those, or Big, or there's other big popular cartoons. But the one I actually like is the Atlantis with Michael J. Fox.
Right.
What was that one called? Was that
right. Yeah.
Mystery of Atlantis? Whatever the first one was called. I really actually dug that. Leonard Nimoy was the owner of the main guy who ran Atlantis. I actually really dug that. Claudia Christensen was in it. Oh, Rockford Files, the guy who died, Garner. Wasn't that his name? Garner, the actor who did Rockford Files, was in
James Garner.
James Garner. Danny Bagood says, we have an anime section now. We do in this podcast.
There we go.
But I am definitely more into the
Lemon Streak really loved one called Girls und Panzer, which is basically World War II tanks and women in skimpy clothing, from what I can gather.
There you go. That's
wow.
Yeah.
You know what's funny, man?
The
first time,
the Lost Empire. Thank you. Boom. Go ahead.
There we go. Well, the first time I watched an anime show, I was very young in Brazil, and I was like, "What the fuck is this? Is this some weird pervy cartoon?" And what's funny is that my first impression of anime was actually pretty bang on. It is like some weird, pervy cartoon on average.
Dude, I remember the first one. So I watched Robotech, which is Macross
Robotech
translated again. And
legend.
Legend. I've read all the books, all 18 of them. Like I fucking Jack McKinley did the translation over to the novelization, which I enjoyed. But Min-Mei was the chick in there, and there was some oddities. I remember the way she acted. I was like, this is like not what because that was my first real foray into, and it wasn't even anime, but so the way she acted, there was a time where she was like dancing and her dress blew up, and I was like, that's why? Like, why? That doesn't make any sense. Wow. Does that not matter? Why? Then I started jumping into other stuff, and I was like, so I came from G.I. Joe, Mask, Jason the Wheeled Warriors, all the normal Western ones. No sexualization at all. Baroness, who's hot as fuck in Cobra Commander. They never even talked about sex or anything like that. And in fact, they're really, I would say, I don't know what the term would be, asexual, I guess. It's just not a thing, right?
Yeah.
And then, man, I remember watching Akira and thinking it was really over the top. Explosion, people dying and turning into blood fucking gods or whatever they do in Akira. And then I watched another one, and I remember just being like almost revolted by it. Not that you should be revolted. I'm saying I was at first. Now I can watch it, but I just was unused to it. And you guys know I'm not sexually attracted towards cartoons.
Yeah,
Like I know some people,
a lot of fan service.
yeah, I
in
know
of
some
these.
people like game characters and they're like, "Whoa, she's hot," whatever. That doesn't trigger. It's I think in 2 times in my entire life have I seen a character and been like, "Oh, you know." Yes, Berserk. That was another one I watched because I played the Dreamcast game and didn't know there was an anime. Played Berserk. What were you gonna say?
The two that we grew up with here in Scandinavia were mainly Robotech, and another one called we called it Silver Fang. It's called, I think, Ginga Nogare Beshi Gin.
So Silver
Nagare
Fang.
Boshi.
It's called Silver Fang.
Yes.
Just
Right.
stick with Silver Fang.
Right,
I'm
I
not
mean,
trying
Sorry
to
to butcher it.
Yeah. What was it about? About a dog? Like the silver?
Yes,
Yeah.
it is about a dog. It's about a bear hunting dog. It's basically, and this was shown in like on kids television, and it was like one of the bloodiest anime shows ever made. It is basically about a bear hunting dog that basically loses its father to this legendary bear with one eye. That is basically the big bad guy of
gotcha.
the entire series. And sort of the terror of that region of Japan. And then he basically embarks on this quest to gather all of these dogs to him and basically lead sort of a dog rebellion against this big bad bear guy. And it culminates in the final fight. And like there are these massive bloody battles throughout where dogs fight and blood gets scattered everywhere, and it's quite dark, it's quite violent, and this was shown as kids television.
We had nothing of that. The only way we would watch it is VHS. You could go to the rental store and there was an animation section, and that was the only place you could see it. We never saw anything like that on the States. Like, at least from where I lived, it was never on TV. Wizards was Fire and Ice and Wizards, which are the old D&D cartoons. Those were the only two. We're going to wrap this up because these guys have been sitting here for a long time, and while my bladder is just perfection, it's not even noticing like the 45 liters. These guys,
mine is getting there. Yeah, mine is.
Their PSI is quite high. Like their little red, it's in the red. Their PSI is in the red. So we're going to get going. Yeah. I want to say thanks to everybody here real quick. Johnny, what are you streaming?
Tomorrow I'm streaming DMC 5, my first playthrough, and I also have an interview with a fellow streamer that I'm going to be doing.
Are you going to say who they are, or are we going to be in a mystery?
Her name is Abby. She's a Brit, very high energy, so I'll see how I handle that.
Well, dude, you're on a podcast with me. Oh, you're the one running it, though. You got to control her.
Right, because, that's true. That's a good point.
You're fucked. I'm just joking.
I'll summon you for that one, dude. I'll go like...
I'll have to show up. What time do you do that, though?
I'll get all the sugary stuff before.
On my time frame, what time do you do that?
So that will take place 4.5 hours before our podcast. So that for you
6:30?
is 6:30.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Pretty bright and early.
I'll be up. Don't know if the family
You're probably
will be.
pumping weights at 6:30 and
3:30, man, not 6. 6:30. I've already done 3 hours of other shit, man. 6:30 is midday for me. What about you, Reg? Streaming anything in the Discord? Or are you gonna play anything? Gonna do anything?
No, probably not.
All right, so absolutely nothing going on with Reg. Next Friday will show up. He won't have left the chair. What about you, Silver?
We are currently trying to render. Our sleeve is hard at work at rendering our podcasts for the last edit. We've sort of bottlenecked a little bit with like 4 that we still need to put out. But we are gonna get. We just recorded Bird After Reading, and we are going to do A Serious Man next for the Coen Brothers. So really looking forward to that one.
All right. And you guys will see reviews from me over the week. If you guys get a chance, jump by the Discord today. I'll probably be hanging out in there in chat for a little while, at least this afternoon. Other than that, everybody have an awesome week. I hope you had a good time. I hope you enjoyed this somewhat. And if you got this far, hashtag PSI, and we'll understand what it was on Twitter. Hashtag PSI. Peace out, everybody. Have an awesome time. Enjoy your weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
Bye-bye. Now it just turns into sounds. It's not even bye. And done. All right, cool. Yeah, I didn't even realize it.